Okay, so once again, welcome to Charmed Persons. I hope you liked listening to their quiet smiles for a few minutes. This is,
Terrifying.
as the title of this stream says, this is the example assignment in Candela Obscura, the quick start guide to the new TTRPG by Darrington Press, a Critical Role company. And we're very excited. We've read up on the mechanics, and we're gonna play this for the first time live now with you guys. So we're excited to get started on this spooky Sunday. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump right into it. Just a little bit. Okay, so a riot of sound radiates from the new Fair World exhibition. Where once these city streets were filled with the screaming of civilians, there is now the laughter of children. The echoing of gunfire has been replaced with the pop-pop-pop of roasting caramel corn. The explosions of enemy bombs are now the crackling of electrified inventions. Even 3 years after the war, it feels almost incongruous to hear the wild noise of happiness. You carry with you, as all Halen citizens do, the weight of the last great war on this Memorial Day. In celebration of the military implementation of electricity, which was the incredible force the incredible power that forced Otherware to withdraw from the region, New Fair hosts an exhibition of advancement every year. Today, the district of Briar Green is a new world, transformed by colorful flags. Each street is lined with the stalls of a pop-up market, and children scurry among the crowds dressed in their finest. On display, there's row after row of inventions, the likes of which you've never seen. Come see the electromagnet elevator! Use radar technology to find your missing sheep, madam. Tired of buttoning your shirt for work every day, sir? Try the amazing zipper and get your morning back. And best of all, the entire district smells of cotton candy and caramel. When we finally make it through the cacophony into Briarbank College and its exhibition hall, the world seems to forget the rules which it operates. Here, the bright sun is dimmed by a dust-filled darkness, and the outside noise is compacted into a weighty hush. The hall is filled with the whispering of industrial giants exchanging vast sums of money. The inventions in these rooms are titanic. The very air smolders with a static buzz. Electric screams silence the speakers with a regular staccato, sending the bravest eyes looking up into the lightning that dances across the ceiling. We wander in silence through the gallery, listening to the daring inventors. Perched on bespoke stages, they evangelize their work. If you'll stand over here, sir. And there now, don't be afraid. The X-ray machine will only show us your bones, nothing more. But you'll have to hand me the items in your pocket, sir. Thank you. Oh, I've always wanted a gold watch. Laughter erupts. There are flyers throughout the hall of a bright, almost iridescent green. In the dim light, the pages seem to glow. And in the electric flashes, they nearly sparkle. We follow them, like a trail of breadcrumbs to a massive crowd. High on the stage before us stands a beautiful woman, Vera Montgomery, swirling in a glowing green dress. She is a beam of light incarnate as she parades before a massive sign, a word painted in the same eerie green hue, Undark. Over the gasps from the crowd, we cannot hear the voice of the man who stands with her, but it's clear that he's highlighting the features of the pigment. He gestures around the room as if to say, you need no light but the one we provide. In our Undark, you are the light. The crowd erupts in cheers, pulling the attention of the entire hall. In this cacophony, it takes a moment to hear the model's screams. But her cries grow louder and more piercing over the enthusiasm of onlookers and the crash of electricity. All at once, a hush blankets the hall. Gaping red sores open across the woman's skin, crawling from beneath the undark dress in deep fissures of pain. The model stops screaming, holding her hand up before the crowd. Within her hand, her bones glow green, a terrible mirroring of the X rays on display only a few feet away. As we watch the bones within each finger fall, disconnected towards her wrist until her flesh hangs like a glove. The cascade of disconnecting bone runs down her arm and then her spine, then her legs, until what was once a beautiful woman is a pooling mass of writhing flesh. In the end, there is nothing but a pile of red viscera and the most beautiful green dress the world has ever seen. Looming above the body like a promise, a glowing sign reads, Undark. We now take ourselves away from this moment as the crowd reels from everything that has just occurred. And we find ourselves transported across the city of New Fair to various locations. One of which we will go to now, starting with Emily. Emily, where do you think we would find your character this evening? You don't have to describe your character just yet, but where do you think they would be spending their time?
I think she would be at like a tavern at a bar, kind of in a back corner table by herself.
Okay. So we find ourselves in a tavern in one of the lower districts of the city, and we see in the back corner a small oil lamp illuminating a lone figure at a table with their back against a wall. Emily, would you like to describe your character?
Yeah, Harriet Crawford, friends call her Harry. She is like scrappy, tough, not super tall, short blonde hair. Um, Definitely looks tough, like fingerless gloves, like could hop on a motorcycle at any moment. But she's sitting at this table with just papers spread out in front of her, sort of adding to her notes from the day.
Yeah.
Also, just sort of listening to all the conversations around her.
You start to hear murmurs around you of something that has happened, something at the New Fair World exhibition, some kind of event. And as your curiosity is being piqued, the door to the tavern opens, and in walks a tall, lanky figure, but hunched in posture just slightly, a limp to his walk as he makes his way through this tavern. He carries a lone oil lamp, wearing a long suit, almost too big for him, a dirty top hat that seems to be worn over time, eyes surrounded by darkness in his skin, but open wide, staring. This is James Ramsey, the lightkeeper in which you have been in contact with the Candela Obscura. And he approaches the table, placing his lamp right next to you, and he sits at the table, kind of grunting as he does. Good evening, Harriet.
What happened?
Something has occurred at the New Fair World exhibition. Something of paranormal means. A woman has died, killed in a horrific way. Something unnatural remains. Bleed has been detected. It is time. It's time for you to prove your worthiness to the Candela and to meet the rest of the members of the solemn vow. In an hour's time, he stands grabs his lantern, nods, and walks. What does Harriet do in this moment?
Harriet takes a minute and then finds a fresh piece of paper and furiously takes notes on everything that he just said.
Okay.
And then probably like packs up and leaves and gets to wherever their meeting spot is way too early.
Okay. All right. And now, um, we find ourselves in another location here in New Fair. JMO, where do you think your character would be spending their evening?
Definitely Red Lamp.
Red Lamp?
Currently,
Okay.
probably chatting up some fine ladies.
Wonderful. So, um, as we zoom into the Red Lamp District, notably, as its name would suggest, there's a deep, dark red hue that illuminates throughout this district. It is a district filled with artistic individuals and individuals who like to partake in consensual, legal um, uh, intimacy with one another. And in one of these establishments, we see at the front desk a beautiful individual being currently charmed or attempted to be charmed by our next character. JMO, would you like to describe your character?
Yeah, my character's name is Jane Poggle, otherwise known as Scarlet Whispers, which is her stage name. She is a local magician of the town and is well known as such. She has her classic magician's top hat askew, always on her head, much better kept than James's, and always has kind of a long cloak or jacket on, as well as gloves, usually with kind of a loose tie around a white button-up shirt, and that's kind of her classic look. Um, she is also very pale. Not so much so that it's like super noticeable, but just compared to others, you can definitely notice that she's pale and almost instead of a red glow in places you might expect, there's a little bit of like a blue glow instead.
And as you're currently chatting this vixen across from you,
Hmm.
you see her kind of, uh, her eyes go wide and she looks over your shoulder. And you turn to see entering this establishment a character that probably normally wouldn't be found here. And as a matter of fact, you do see himself to be somewhat uncomfortable as James Ramsey walks into this establishment. And he looks around carrying his lantern and he spots you and he slowly limps his way over to you. And he sees that you are currently speaking with an individual and he says, Miss Argle, may I please take you away for a moment? It is of the utmost urgency.
Of course, and I'll turn back to the woman and just say, "Give me a second, hun," and I'll step away with James.
You see her uncomfortable of James soften a bit with your interaction, and then she walks away. Or lets you walk away, I should say, and James kind of hobbles over closer to the door. It is time for you to meet the other members of the solemn vow and perform your first assignment. Something has happened at the New Fair World Exhibition. Horrific death of a woman with all the markings of an unnatural occurrence.
Interesting. Yes, of course. Where are we to meet?
Meet at the main ticket stand, World Exhibition, in an hour's time. And he
Okay.
just simply nods, walks away, and goes through the door. And what does Jane do in this moment?
She goes back to the woman and uses as much of that time as she can,
Of
and then
course, yes.
heads over.
Wonderful. As I would expect nothing less. Evan, where do you think we would find your character this evening?
Archibald is sitting in one of the fanciest hotels, but not in one of the rooms. Like he's sitting in the lobby bar.
Yes.
He's sitting by the fire. He's got a glass of scotch sitting on the table next to him. He's reading a book. that he's been meaning to read for a while, but he's got like a million books that he's actually trying to read at once. So he's finally sitting down and reading this one, smoking a long pipe with his cane leaned against the chair and just sitting there reading, smoking, and having a drink. There's not a lot of people there. That's why he's going to this specific location. Like, he could have done this in a pub, and he has done it in a pub.
Yeah.
But right now, he's just sitting right next to the fire, having a nice quiet read of some historical text.
Okay, Mycroft. And as you are enjoying your evening, you do start to hear a bit of hustle and bustle coming from the main lobby, the main foyer entrance to this hotel. You see some people who you definitely immediately spot as out-of-towners, kind of hurriedly walking into the hotel, presumably bothered by some sort of an occurrence. And as you're kind of like watching their entrance to this hotel, a familiar at this point hunched figure steps into the lobby with a familiar limp, and you see him turn and not even look up to see if you are over by the fireplace. He just simply turns his direction and starts moving in that way. He slowly makes his way to the chair across from you, and he softly places himself in the chair, and you see a sigh of great relief as he lets his bones rest for but a moment, and then he looks over to you. Professor Kane, good evening.
Good evening, Mr. Ramsey. And he takes a big puff from his pipe, and in that moment, as the embers light, you see that in his right eye, a little glint from the amethyst fake eye he has in his right socket kind of just like shines for a second, based on the light of that.
What a Bond villain. And he nods in reaction, and then he says, there has been an event at the New Fair World Exhibition. Some horrible, unnatural death of a beautiful woman. Supernatural in nature, and...
I would assume, or else you wouldn't be here.
Correct. Then I can also assume that you understand it is time for you to meet the other members of Solemn Vow and perform your first assignment with one another.
Yeah, he smiles, and like his very nice, well-coiffed, slightly curly mustache just kind of like twitches for a second. He goes, "Indeed it is." He takes a big pull from his pipe, knocks out the rest of it into an ashtray, breaks it down, puts it in his pocket, and takes another sip as the smoke puffs out, and he goes, "After you, my good man." Puts on his violet jacket and stands up.
You see him like take a moment of like, he sighs, knowing that his time in this chair is over, and he roughly stands back up and
Archibald hands over the last little bit of his scotch to James.
"Thank you, my good man." And he quickly downs it with a big gulp, putting it down on the table.
That's one way to enjoy 60-year scotch.
Where I'm from, it doesn't matter how old it is. And he continues to walk out of the hotel, leading you to the location. So yours was the last chronologically. Going back in time, we're going to just because I like that ending, we're gonna find ourselves where, Kelsey?
So Victoria Shaw is walking the docks of Hallow Harbor today. Okay. She has like this massive dark mop of curly hair and these big round thin spectacles, and she wears this like loose dress all black and a scarf tightly around her neck that's also black, and her hands are wrapped. The other thing that people would notice is there's like a loose belt that has like tiny strings of delicately tied bones hanging at her hip. And she has these large eyes that are just always not quite focused on anything she's looking at.
Yeah,
And she kind of glides along, like looking for anything interesting
for sure.
to snatch up.
And as some sailors ending their shift at the docks adjust their pass to avoid Victoria, out of an alleyway of a nearby building, a few feet in front of you, you see the low swing of a lantern, and then the appearing of James Ramsey, who, you know, you've definitely come to know quite well, actually, in recent years. And he steps forward, and he, unlike the others, greets you with a smile, cold and distant as it is, and he says, Victoria, of course I would find you here. What trouble have you been up to this evening?
No trouble. Your bones are loud today, James.
Trust me, I hear them screaming with every movement. He puts his hand into his pocket, checks a pocket watch, puts it back. Victoria, it's time to see your training in action. There's been an incident at the New Fair World exhibition, a supernatural, horrific death. You have been assigned a circle. Members of the solemn vow will meet you there.
How delightful.
I'm looking forward to seeing your work on this assignment, Victoria. I'll be sure to report your performance to those who need to hear it.
He does like a weird little curtsy and then wanders off.
Okay, as you're walking away, he just kind of like, you hear just the slightest chuckle under his breath as he then says, "Take and stand in an hour's time." And he
Waves a hand.
wonderful. And with that, we cut back to the New Fair World exhibition. You all met with James Ramsey as he informed you of what happened and what occurred. He tells you everything that was described to you narratively at the beginning of the woman in the glowing green dress, a beautiful color to which human eyes have a shade of green that human eyes have not seen before. And you hear the horrific state of affairs that were her death. And he basically points you all in the direction of the exhibition hall where this occurred. And as he wraps up this speech to all of you, he says, "How you go about solving this assignment is 100% in your hands. You've received any help I can hope to offer. In conclusion of your findings, return to the chapter house, located in wherever it is that we have our chapter house. I'll get you the info later."
You all know where it is.
You know the chapter house.
Return to the chapter house and report to me your findings upon receiving them. Good luck, solemn vow. Please protect our citizen. He bows gracefully and starts to hobble off. And all of you kind of like came here, you know, a little bit randomly. And James, when he walked up with Archibald, pretty much immediately went into like his rant of what happened. And so now you are all four with each other. You know the direction of the exhibition hall. This is your first time kind of seeing one another. Some of you, I shouldn't say that. Some of you, this might be your first time seeing each other. But I'll let that be up to you. You could have been aware of one another in your various interviews and things like that, but definitely not necessarily the best of friends. And this is your first time working together. So what do you do?
I immediately pull out a nice little bleed detector
Okay.
without even saying a word.
Okay.
I would have had it in my other inside pocket. We're not where my pipe is. But just a little thing, and start
mix those up.
immediately
So yeah, so
trying to
you
detect the direction that it's coming from.
you reach into your violet suit jacket and you pull out this silver pocket watch that you flip open. And inside, of course, is not the face of a clock, but a single golden needle on a black canvas that points in the direction of the nearest bleed. And as it is doing so right now, it is spinning slowly in a circle, basically making you aware that in this current moment, there is no bleed in your immediate vicinity. If you get closer, you might be able to find it, but definitely know to head in the direction of the exhibition hall. But in this current area, it seems that the bleed has not made its way out into the general public.
Then I
Did
guess we
any of you
head.
see anything?
There's no bleed, not yet anyway.
Not gonna have any pleasantries or anything. Just
Oh, I
straight to
figured.
business. Apparently, all right. That's fine. No.
I figured we'd want to solve the problem as fast as possible.
Yeah,
Sure. Just a quick hello. My name is Jane. Could have still happened. For
Oh,
those
well, you
that
just
I
did
don't
it.
know.
So let's
I know you.
get on going.
Well, yes, Harry. Of course, we know
Perfect.
each other, but I don't know the other. But
Um,
fine. Yes, let's just go inside then. Okay.
Victoria's gonna walk up to Archibald. She's gonna take his face in her hands. And her hands are very cold.
Yeah, of course.
She looks at him in the eyes and she goes,
Hello.
Yes. Hi, Victoria. Yes.
Yes. And you
Yes.
are?
Archibald Kane. I would shake your hand, but they're touching my face.
and she just kind of pats and walks back.
Amazing.
You know, for how cold they were, very moisturized.
Hmm.
So
Yes,
pleasantries done. We can go.
Sorry, I'm vaguely aware of all of you. Forgive me. I guess I don't work for them anymore. There was all little information files on you back at the OUP, and I look around to see if there's anybody just watching in that moment.
Actually, go ahead and make the first roll of our campaign. Make a survey check for me. So just to remind you and to inform our viewers, what is your in your specific survey? Do you have any action points?
I have two.
Two, so you can
Those are
automatically.
two circles, right?
Yep, those are the two circles. So you can automatically roll 2 dice. If you want, you can use a drive out of the. I see you have 4 maximum. You can use a drive to add another dice if you would like. Also, another member of your party can use one of their intuition drives to assist you if they would like, or you can just roll the 2 that you have.
I'm just gonna roll the 2 that I have. It's not that serious. Just
Yeah.
looking about.
Yeah, it's a low stakes roll. Go ahead and roll and tell me what your highest result is.
Both were a 4.
Both were 4. All right, great. So that is a mixed success. So as you look around, you don't see anybody blatantly paying attention to you. You do see that there are some cars that have pulled up to the exhibition hall with red cycling lights, and one of them does house the emblem of the OUP on it, the Office of Unexplained Phenomena, the division of the periphery, the police here in New Fair that you once worked for. Similar ish objectives as the Candela Obscura, but enough different in viewpoints that there is some tension there at times. There's a lot of bureaucratic red tape with the OUP that the Candela Obscura does not have to abide by, and also the OUP It's kind of like the Candela Obscura think that knowledge is power, and the OUP think that there just should be zero knowledge of the magic and the thinnings in New Fair. So you do see that at least one unit of OUP officers has been called.
Yeah, I think we should get closer to our objective before I say further, but that is why I wanted to skip the pleasantries, and we've gone on for far too long now, haven't
Yes, I agree.
Sure.
we? I guess I'll lead the way.
Wonderful. So you guys, you begin in the exhibition hall of Briarbank College, which you are very aware of, Professor Kane, and maybe also one of the reasons why you found yourself in a hotel lobby is because your college and campus has been transformed over the past week in order to prepare for this fair world exhibition, and the exhibition hall has been completely transformed inside as you see the just various booths and displays of these new inventions and whereas normally there would be an air of just awe and wonder and excitement in this place, there's a calm, cold air here. You see that there are exhibitionists and people who had the items on display here that are currently packing up and tearing down their setups. You do see that over on the main stage, there is a small crowd of people, including some members of the periphery who are kind of holding some people back. And you also actually see a couple OUP agents currently standing right on the middle stage. And that's kind of what you see as you enter this exhibition hall. What do you do?
Can I make a read check to like it says like interpret body language and things like that, but sort
Yeah.
of just like read the room, see if anybody sticks out as like not matching the vibe of like surprise and
Sure,
sadness.
100%. Yeah, go ahead and roll a read check, and as we said before, you use the action. Do you have action points in read?
I have one, so I roll just one. Right?
So you can roll one, or you can use a drive to increase it, or someone can assist you. It's up to you.
I'm just gonna roll one.
Okay.
If anybody wants to help me. A 3.
A 3. You look around, and the general look that you get from everyone is downtrodden and traumatized. You do see a couple of people crying, people trying to like calm people down. You do see some medics that are like paying attention to people and like trying to get them revitalized. But as far as anybody that doesn't match the vibe of what's going on, you don't notice anything.
Do you think we'll be able to get close if there's OUP lot are up there? I'm not so sure.
Why don't we just go ask?
I like that.
I think if
Straightforward.
they're gonna respond to anybody, it'll be you.
That's fair. I walk forward and just look at the ones who are on the stage and go, "Hello there, good to see you all."
You start walking to the front of the main stage, and you see that the periphery, there's a couple periphery members who are not of the OUP who are kind of just like standing guard and making sure that people are staying back. But they are close enough to the main stage that you're able to like get up to them and then like just kind of shout like you did to the OUP agents.
I would see. Is there anybody I know up there?
Yeah, for sure.
I would recognize.
There's an older gentleman with silver hair, slicked back, and a very bushy mustache. You would know this to be Constable Griffin, and he has a rookie with him that you don't recognize at all. Looks fresh faced, looks very eager, very much paying attention to what's going on. And before we continue on, Jane, what were you?
As they start to like call the names and stuff, I want to just use that as basically a distraction and kind of go around and just walk up onto the stage and start looking around.
Okay, yeah, for sure. So,
Same.
so we'll get a hide roll from you, but we'll don't do it yet. We'll come back to you. So we'll do the distraction first. You see that the Constable Griffin is currently standing over a red dress, or red. It completely changes everything. A green dress. A glowing green dress that is on the ground of a color that you have never seen before. It is something that is very awe-inspiring, and yet horrifying, because it is surrounded by what you can only ascertain to be a fleshy goo. And Constable Griffin is staring down, looking at this, and then you see that the rookie is talking to another individual, a man, tall, dark, black hair that's kind of like swept back, almost like a tuxedo of a suit, very well dressed. He seems to be pretty distraught as he's talking to this rookie. And you walk up and you say,
"Hello, Constable. Good to see you." And I hold my hand out.
The constable looks over. Well, if it isn't Kane. And he bends down on the stage and reaches out and gives you a handshake. What are you doing here?
Well, I heard a commotion while I was staying and reading late in the college, and my curiosity, come to find this going on my very doorstep.
I was wondering if I would see you here, seeing as how this is your place of employment. Yeah, well, I got respect for you, Kane, but you're not a member of the OUP anymore, so I can only tell you so much. But it just seems that this woman was sporting a dress dyed in this new pigment, and he gestures up to the large sign, Undark, that exists over this main stage. And while she was showing it off, something happened, and her bones began to, reports say, glow, fall brittle, and fall away, turning her into this, well, what's left of her here.
Oh, so sorry. So rude of me. This is my colleague. And I gesture to Victoria. Don't say the name, but I say, who's been working with me on school matters, and as you can see, she's very interested in the goings-on of this frightful event.
Would you like a bone?
She hands one out.
She collects bones, anthropological studies, birds, animals, the lot.
Something like that.
I appreciate the offer, but no, thank you.
All right. I take out my bleed detector, look at it as a watch just to see.
Oh, I mean, the bleed, it is vibrating, pointing right at the dress. And actually, as you do that, you see that there's almost an ethereal glow to this green dress. You almost, as if you're looking at a flat plain of land in a hot summer day, the sun and the heat, distorts your vision. You almost see that same effect, but with like a green tint coming off of this dress, and it feels dark, and you know that this dress and this viscera that it is surrounded by is oozing bleed. And you see that the captain has actually made sure to avoid getting close and touching what's happening here.
How long till containment, Constable?
We have a unit coming in, should be no more than 10 minutes from now. We will collect and destroy.
As is protocol.
Yes, and as this is happening, and he's talking to you about protocol, let's go ahead and get that hide roll from you, Jane. And once again, I'm assuming you have action points in hide.
I do. I have two, and it's one of my gilded actions.
Okay.
Nice.
And so I'm gonna do
Three.
that and also use a drive point. Hope that I can get it
All right,
back.
so we're
with
gonna
my
use.
roll.
Yeah, so we're gonna roll 3 dice, one of them being the gilded, and if you take the result of the gilded, you'll be able to get that drive back.
I'll take the result of the gilded because I got 2 3s and a 2.
Oh,
At least it's
no!
drive back.
Yeah.
But at least you get the drive back, yeah. So, okay, so as you are trying to kind of sneak around, you're able to get past like one of the periphery agents, as they're more so focused on the main crowd,
On the
and
periphery.
and you like kind of slink past him, and you almost run right into this fresh-faced recruit of an OUP agent. As he's like standing watching this happen, he has walked away from his interview. Excuse me, miss. This is a closed-off area, OUP business only.
Oh, I'm very aware of that. I am. I'm actually here to help. Don't worry. I see that you guys really don't want to touch that dress. And I was just gonna take it off your guys' hands and take it away to actually study it properly because I don't think that you guys would do that.
He just looks at you and tilts his head. Let me guess. Candela Obscura.
Maybe, maybe not. Maybe I'm just curious as to this dress's properties based on what's happened.
Well, don't worry, madam, whoever you are, and whoever you're working for. The OUP has this handled.
I do worry though.
Worry
So
away.
I'm just gonna take that dress.
No,
that
and
part of me.
I don't think you will be doing such. Officers! And a couple of the periphery officers kind of turn to look, and he looks at you. Shall I have them escort you away, or will you be walking away of your own?
Can I use this distraction to try and sneak past?
You know what?
my
Sure,
God.
yeah.
Oh
let's,
my
let's
God.
Go ahead and
It's
roll.
the double blind.
How many action points do you have in hide?
Just one.
Just one. Okay, so are you going to use
Ooh.
a drive, or are you going to... I can say, if you are willing to use a drive, Jambo, this whole distraction could be you assisting. If you wanted to, that's up to you.
Yeah, why not?
Okay?
Yeah.
So Jambo
Okay,
uses
so
And
that, so
and
you'll
because
have
I would
two.
also
You
I
got your
probably
drive
have-
back, so it's just using it again, basically.
Yeah.
yeah. So and I would have done a little bit more distractive things after the fact, but
Okay.
I'll give you this quarter.
We're at this
For
point,
that
but-
quarter.
I got a 4.
A 4? Okay. So what I'll say is, for a mixed success. So you
Shaken over ice.
So you sneak past, and you. What I'll say? It's mixed success. So you sneak past, and you get past the guy currently talking to Jane, and you get past the constable because you're just kind of behind the constable basically, and you slowly start to approach the dress. You see that the figure that the fresh-faced OUP agent was talking to is watching you. He has, like I said, dark swept back hair, and he's just kind of watching your movements, not saying anything, just like watching what you're doing. You see some tear marks down his face as he does watch you. And you get closer to the dress, and you feel yourself almost drawn to it. Its beauty. And yes, it is surrounded by this horrifying mass of viscera that is left from this poor woman, but the dress itself is beautiful, and the pigment is beautiful, and as you reach out and get closer to it, you feel this tingling sensation and this warmth on the tip of your finger, as almost as if you're shining a flashlight underneath your hand. You see a similar glow of green flash through your hand, and you feel this cold, tingling presence, and then you pull it away, but you do take a mark of bleed.
Oh.
Ah!
Shit.
I want it.
I want to bleed.
I want unblinking eyes.
Fuck up my eyes.
I
Oh,
take a
jeez.
second to shake that off. And then what would a bleed containment vial do?
So a bleed containment vial would grab the bleed, basically, that is emanating from this substance and this dress, and would contain it to be able to be tested at another time. And, I mean, the main thing is it contains it so that no one else gets harmed by the bleed. But
do
it
that.
also is something that could be transported. So you take out basically what looks like a small... kind of a test tube, but more of a beaker almost, but it is made of this kind of like dark rusted metal. And you spin some dials at the top that release this lid off of the vial, off of the containment vial, and you bring it down to the dress and the substance, and you see that like glowing ethereal green rising off this where that the manifestation of this bleed. You see it almost be as if it's a vacuum, be sucked into this vial, and you successfully remove the bleed from this dress and from the horrible viscera that is left, and you close the vial, click back the lids, and you are able to stow it away.
Sneak back out.
Okay, so as this is happening, we'll cut back to you, Jane. You see Harry step forward. You see Harry have this like brief reaction of pain or tingling sensation, and then you see her get the containment vial, and you know what a containment vial looks like, and you see her contain the bleed. And as she walks away, what do you do?
Seeing her do that, I would kind of make a bit of a show again of like, oh no, I don't need to be a squid. And I'll fake sneeze and pull out a bouquet of flowers and be like, so sorry for your trouble. And I'll give it to the rookie and give him a little face pat. And be like, I'll be on my way, and I'll walk away.
You see a flashes of various emotions, one of which being genuine surprise and impressive, like at the trick, be replaced by an immediate just fury in his face that he contains. And as he takes the flowers, he gives you just the saltiest little fake smile as you then walk
That's when
off
I
the
pat
stage.
his cheek.
Yes, perfect. And while this is all happening, I would say Victoria and Archibald, you also saw everything happen with Harriet that did. And the constable kind of says at the end of this conversation, well, it's, I wish I could tell you more, but for now it's probably best if you leave it to the professionals.
I lean forward to Griff, kind of like making a show of being like more personal than being with Victoria in that moment. And I go, listen, nothing like this has ever happened on my doorstep. I would really love to talk to that gentleman there. I'm so curious. I mean, we worked together long enough. This has never happened before, literally under my nose. I would love to just talk to him for a moment and see what the hell. Excuse me. What has gone on here? Just for old times.
You look over at the man standing there, and I will show you what he looks like. There he is there.
Looks like a fucking mortician!
Let's go! Oh my god!
And he and Constable
Everyone in the world is hot!
Constable Griffin says, you know what, alright, his name's Donald Mercer. He's apparently the former lover of our victim. So just stay away from the dress and away from the OUP agents when they get here. Some of them aren't as respectful as me, someone who Turns down the flag. Know what I mean?
Oh, don't I know it? Don't I know it? I like use his arm to like pull me up onto the stage
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
and give
Easily.
him give him one of those like you're a good man.
Yeah.
and then I take out my bleed detector just to see because I saw them contain it, right?
Yeah. You did. And you do see that. So basically, like the way this detector works, right, is like it's constantly spinning, and then when it sees bleed, what it'll do is it'll like slow down in a certain area. Like it's not incredibly accurate, so it's like it'll slow down in a quadrant, and then it'll go back around, and then when you're really close, it'll flat out just like point and vibrate towards it. So as you're walking away, you don't see the like direct vibrating point towards the dress and stuff anymore, but actually there is kind of like a slowdown in the general area of backstage.
Gotcha. I do turn around and like offer my hand, Miss, to Victoria to help her up onto the stage.
Okay.
And then kind of like make a show of walking around the dress, not like super short, but like definitely going around it, being like, "Oh no, bleed!"
Are we taking a turn about the room, Professor?
Of sorts, Miss Shaw. I thought we'd talk to Mr. Mercer over there, and I do lean in and very quickly go, "There's also something backstage." Did they go backstage, or did they go around? Jane and Harriet.
Harriet, did you go back when you snuck back away? Did you sneak backstage, or did you sneak towards the front, back through the officers and back out to the crowd?
I think I would have snuck backstage if I thought I could get back there easily without getting caught.
Yeah,
okay,
sure.
is bleed detectable in a containment vial?
You know what? I will say no. I'll say no. It's
Okay.
not.
That's what I thought, because I wanted to see.
It's like a lead box. Yeah.
If it was them that like went backstage, then I'd be
so
like,
you would know that this
matter.
so you would comfortably know that there must be an open source of bleed still.
Yeah. I look over at Victoria and like quickly as we're like going around, I'm going, "There's more bleed backstage. Please. Do you have your own?" And I lean and I show the detector. And I go, "Do you have your own?"
I can.
Do you mind
really
showing
want
me,
to have
or
two?
am I wink, wink.
Didn't know if we needed to or not.
Well, I'll hold on to mine if you've got one.
Yeah, okay. She'll dig around in her large dress pockets and pull one out and nod with a wink.
She pulls out a dead, withering rose, and it's not that pocket.
Yep.
Pulls out
Wrong
the
Wrong
like
pocket.
very preserved, mummified body of a frog. Not that one.
Yeah, switch that pocket. Can't get rid of that. That took a while to find. Took a long time.
I wait a little longer than it should. And I like go, "Okay, so if you've got one, just go. There's more where that came from backstage while I talk to Mr. Mercer.
Don't have too much fun without me.
I'll do my best."
She like glides eerily off.
Archibald like watches her go and just kind of goes, "That's got to be probably my favorite person I've met doing this."
And then you go and talk.
And then
to
walks
Donald.
to Mercer.
Yeah, and as that's happening, Jane, we got to get you back into this. So you're now in the crowd. You've seen all three of your companions successfully get up there and get back up there. So do you try to sneak again? What do you do?
I think knowing she can probably not sneak again because the rookie hates her now because she's an asshole. And I think she would then just like, because she's a very charming person, just starting to talk to people in the crowd of like, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe this happened. What did you see? It sounds horrible. I'm so sad." And like seeing if she can basically know if anyone saw anything like weird just before it all happened, or knew more about the woman, or like.
Yeah, I'll say you have your choice. You can talk to a traumatized witness who seems to be kind of reeling from everything that happened. You can talk to one of the exhibition artists who is currently tearing down their setup. yeah, I would say those are probably your two best options. So which of those two would you like?
Well, actually, would there be more of someone that I noticed that's more of like a worker of the exhibition that may have
A
like
staff
helped
member?
set up? Yeah, like
Yeah,
help set up
actually
like
I would say yeah, you're able to kind of just like ask you like ask around a few people like is it like do you know anyone who works here blah blah blah. And you find basically the event coordinator, the person
great.
who would be, you know, basically like the stage manager of this show. And they are currently like they have like this makeshift like there's like two crates piled up that they have this clipboard on that they are basically like currently trying to work like checking everybody out and making sure that like the business side of this still happens on exit so that things aren't just like, you know, completely chaotic. And you approach, she's a woman with black hair pulled back into like a real tight bun, and spectacles that are kind of tilted down at the edge of her nose. There's some like wisps that have fallen out from her hair. Clearly, like a chaotic evening. And she looks up at you. Exhibition number.
Oh, no, I'm not here. I noticed that you were one of the workers here, and I can't imagine how stressful this must be for you. So I just wanted to come up and say you're doing a great job given the circumstances, and I'm so sorry that you're dealing with this in the circumstances. And I just hope you're okay. And I
I,
mean, wow, this is oh
it's, it's been a horrific evening. I can't say otherwise. But thank you. That means a lot. I have felt
yeah.
somewhat chaotic since everything happened, and I may have forgotten to take a moment and breathe. So I appreciate
No,
it.
take that moment. You deserve that moment. Like everything else can wait. This business stuff can wait. And I'll like put my hand on her hand and just be like, it's gonna be okay. Everything's gonna work out.
Go ahead.
So good.
Go ahead
So
and roll a sway check for me.
good.
So you have this is a guild in action, and you have 2 action points. So are you going to use any drives, or are you just going to go ahead and do 2 dice?
I think I'm gonna go ahead and use another drive. Why not?
Okay. So 3, including a gilded die.
Cool. Hopefully I roll better. Well, not using the gilded die because that was a 1.
Okay.
The other one was a 1.
Oh,
But I did get a
no.
5.
Okay, all right. Well, there you go. So a 5 is still a mixed success, but it's pretty low stakes. So what I'll say with a mixed success here is you see her immediately relax and calm, and she nods her head and might not be receptive, or not that she's unreceptive, but she might not be you know, letting her guard down in the way that maybe you would prefer. But you do seem to have calmed her down, and she does seem to be warming up to you. And she says, "Thank you. Yes, it was. Honestly, it was utterly hot. Were you here when it occurred?"
No, I heard about it. I was close by and it was commotion and I mean curiosity killed the cat, but I can't help myself sometimes and I just had to
I
felt drawn
understand
to it.
A
Yeah.
horrifying experience. It seemed to happen out of nowhere.
Yeah.
She was so beautiful one moment, and oh, the next.
No, yeah. I'll not don't need to rehash that horrifying. I am curious if leading up to that with this vendor, this show, and all of that, did you sense anything off or notice anything strange?
No, it was one of our more promising exhibitions. We were excited to put it on. The dress arrived today and was unpackaged today. And everything seemed to go off without a hitch. Vera tried it on backstage in the green room, and she was beautiful, a sight to be seen. The presenter was not of Undark. I think he was a hired individual, and
okay.
so he was simply giving the words that they.
Notes.
He was simply presenting the words that seemed to have been written for him, and then everything fell apart. I think the truly horrifying thing is there's absolutely no foreshadowing to such horrors.
Hmm. So when she tried on the dress, was it still like glowing, kind of creepy like it is right now, or seemed
Yes,
pretty?
right out of the crate
Okay.
itself, it was glowing, ethereal.
Were you there when she tried it on for the first time and unpacked it and everything?
Yes, I was backstage making sure all of tonight's events were ready and knew the lineup and everything that
Okay.
needed to occur. And her and the presenter were just gawking at the dress itself and discussing what were to happen. And she did seem to. There was a moment before she went on stage that she seemed, I don't know, slightly shaken, maybe falling ill of some sort, but I thought maybe it was just nerves.
And did you get close to the dress? Like, were you able to kind of? I'm just curious what it was made out of, so I wasn't sure if you got close enough or anything.
I wasn't able to get as close as I probably would have preferred in hindsight, but it seemed to be made of this new pigment that they're calling
Sure.
Undark. I don't know much about it myself. I've just kind of run the show, you know.
Yeah, no, I haven't really heard about this place either, but now of course I'm curious. Do you know, do they have a factory or a shop or something around here?
Not to my knowledge, but the package might have more information.
The package?
The, the, the,
They
the
just ship the dress directly?
yes, the dress was shipped from the manufacturer.
Okay. Would that be in kind of a storage area that I could maybe go and check out? With your permission, I don't want to go anywhere I'm not supposed to and all
Um,
of that.
she kind of. Sure. I can accompany you to the green room if you would like to take
I
a
would
look
love
at
that. I would greatly appreciate it. Yeah.
Yes,
Like I said, I'm curious and sometimes I think myself a detective when I really shouldn't, but
Well, you know, I feel we could use more women on the periphery, so please let us find ourselves backstage.
I love the periphery.
And she leads you past the officers. At this point, the OUP agents, Constable Griffin and the fresh-faced rookie that we don't know his name, they are like really flabbergasted in looking at the dress and don't understand how there was bleed there and now there's not bleed there, and so they're so focused on that you just walk on by. And while all of this was happening, we will cut to let's cut to Archibald. And so you walk up to Donald, and he seems to be looking in the direction of backstage, and is almost like jumps at your presence. Oh, hello.
Hi there. I'd like to introduce myself. I'm Professor Archibald Kane. I work here at the college.
Donald Mercer, a pleasure.
Pleasure. I'm so terribly sorry for what's happened here.
Appreciate it. Vera was a beautiful woman, the love of my life.
Clearly, with such a beautiful name. Yes.
Yes.
Did you own the dress that caused this horror, or was it given to you?
Oh, no, I heard about the opportunity to model a dress with a new shade of green that had never been heard. I ran into a fellow at a bar. He works for the Radiance Corporation. He was boasting about this new pigment, and well, I put in Vera's name, and I'm the one who got her the gig.
No. And I give him a little bit of a hug and kind of like bring him in. And go, no. You mustn't think like that. It's not your fault. You were doing what you thought was right, and Vera was doing the same. I'm sure. Who was boasting about this pigment? Is the pigment called Undark, or is the pigment called
Yes,
something else?
Undark, that's right.
Undark,
I
yes.
think his name. What's what's his name? Something Wallace, I think.
It's all right.
It was-
You can take some time to find that name while I look for the piece of paper I had here to write this shit down.
Yes, well, there's Wallace. I think Cecil Wallace was his name.
Cecil Wallace, yes. Had you met Cecil before, or was this a new acquaintance?
Oh no, I've never met the chap. I haven't spoken to him since, other than our communications about the dress.
Yes. Where was this?
Oh, someplace in the Silver Slip.
Silver Slip, yes.
I forget.
No, I've been there before. Have I? What kind of place is the Silver Slip?
The Silver Slip is the wealthy, opulent district of New Fair. It is the district where the primacy is located, the main governing body of New Fair, and it's also where the wealthiest businesses are in the region.
Gotcha.
I think the brass ring maybe was the name.
Oh, the brass ring, yes. That's fascinating. Do you find yourself up there often?
Oh yes, I happen to live near the Silver Slip, and I come from a family who law firm and has our offices based in the location.
Oh, what kind of law does your family practice? Sorry, I'm naturally curious, and
Mainly
I'm just curious.
Taxation, real estate, those kind of things.
Yes. Gotcha. Excellent. Now, did you notice anything about the dress when you got it? Was there this energy coming from it that you felt? Vibrations, as it were.
It seemed to glow in such a way that was not only beautiful but unnatural. It was something I've never seen before. It did have a tingling sensation upon touching it. It felt pleasant, but still unnerving, perhaps.
Yes.
As a matter of fact, and he kind of looks down at his hands, and you see, ever so slightly, there are a green tint to the protruding veins on this man's hands. And you see his eyes kind of go wide as he looks at them. But other than that, it seemed like a beautiful dress, that's all.
Yes. How long were you personally in contact with the dress?
Not much. I took it out of the crate, felt it in my hands. Satisfied with the quality, I handed it off to Vera.
So would you say about 10 or so seconds?
Yes, around that, yes. I told all of this to the other OUP agent.
Oh, I know, but they have, the OUP has their mind of... They're authoritative minds, are they not?
Yes, I suppose so.
I'm coming from more of a curiosity, a curious lane. As I actually work. I'm a history professor over in the college over there. Yes.
Wonderful, a man of education.
I'd like to think so. I'm still constantly learning, as I tell all of my students every day that they should be doing as well.
Oh, of course, yeah, as one should.
Some of them do it, and then some of them go to the service. You know what I'm saying? Yes. Is there anything else that for curiosity's sake, that you wouldn't have mentioned to the authorities because they're looking for, they're looking for a culprit. They're looking for definitive answers. I'm just curious if there's anything else that you've known.
The man, Cecil, I think his name was, he seemed manic in a way.
Manic.
He was very, very excited about the project, and I took it all as excitement, but I don't know, maybe there was something more nefarious in nature.
Perhaps. You don't know the family name Wallace at all?
Not that I've heard of. They must not be. It's a good point. If he was if he is of a wealthy family, they're not one of Newfair. I know most of them.
Yes. Oh. Mr. Mercer, I'm so terribly sorry
Thank you.
for your loss. And I
appreciate
think
it.
I think it would be best if you were to vacate, go find a doctor nearby, take a look at those hands, just do that. Here, and I give him a card that has nothing on it.
Uh-huh.
And I go, under the right light, get a hold of me.
Oh, well, thank you very much. And you see him kind of look at his hands. I'm so sorry, but I must away.
No,
And he-
please.
Yeah.
And I like gesture him like off to the side, not to the main entrance.
Yeah,
but, like,
yeah, no,
off
he
that
starts.
way.
Yeah, he like uses the back entrance. And as you start making your way backstage, we cut to earlier, Harriet making her way backstage as you arrived there just before Victoria. So as you got to the backstage, you're unaware of this package or green room, or but you have arrived in the backstage area. You see that there are some people packing up what seem to be performative outfits and displays that they are putting in suitcases and hauling out. And you do see that there are crates that all of the exhibitionists use, where they are like putting their stuff, and they all have like labels on them, and there's no agents back here, no periphery people. What do you do?
Are there like dressing rooms back here? Like, is there a place that seems like it might have been a dressing room?
You are so basically this green room,
Mm-hmm.
quote unquote. Actually, here, let me. This green room doesn't look exactly like this. This just gives you the vibe of the place, but it's actually a classroom that has been pushed. Because this new Fair World exhibition is happening in the college. So it's a classroom where the desks have been pushed aside and replaced with like small tables and vanity mirrors. It seems to be a very open area where everybody got ready, and then there's some like bathrooms off to the side that people probably use for changing. It is definitely not a like professional setup by any means.
Okay. I want to take a look at the crates and see if I see any with Vera's name, or like a name that might stand out to me as maybe being scientifically based, like a company that would be looking for a new color.
You start looking through the crates, and as you are doing so, you look throughout the labels, and they all a lot of them say to Briarbank College, but they have like a to Briarbank College by way of, and then they just the person. And you are looking throughout the crates, and as you are, you look up to see Victoria, currently walking into the room. Your lead detector, Victoria, is a bit different than Archibald Kane's. You pull out what is a pocket watch made of bone. A necklace that is not chain but teeth, that just holds the quote unquote watch, and in the place of the watch, or where the watch would be, is an ornate decoration. At least one would hope so, or it is a fake eye. Or maybe a real eye. And as you are kind of very slightly pendulum, like causing the eye to be a pendulum, basically, and very similar to the other, it kind of like goes in its cycle, and every once in a while, almost like what are those rods? You know what I'm talking about? Ghost, like the ghost hunting.
Oh
people
yeah, you hold
wear.
them and they're like.
Man,
Yeah.
I was gonna yell dildos.
Almost like that. It will
Yeah.
like almost fight gravity and
Like
point
lift.
and
Oh,
lift
that's so
into a certain
cool.
direction. And you find yourself directed to a crate right as you read the words, Harriet, to Briarbank College by way of Vera Montgomery. And on the from is Radiance Corporation, 82 Main Street, Mordaunt Springs.
Okay.
Oh, hello.
Oh, hello. This seems like something.
Yes.
Is it
You-
like opened or does it like need to be opened?
It's like the crate lid is on it, but like just off skew. Like they literally just like laid it on top of the crate.
Do you want to open it or shall I?
I'll open it. I can open it. Just push the
Go
top
and
aside.
you push the top aside, and immediately the air above this crate starts to contort and distort and have a slight green tint about it. And inside the crate, it is empty except for a small piece of parchment that says, "Good luck and make us proud," from Cecil Wallace. And also in the crate, there are spots of a green glowing pigment that are almost as if the dress had been like freshly painted, but it's not exactly that. It almost seems as if it's more so that this crate existed in a place where this pigment was made, not that it came from the dress itself. As there are just like little drops and splotches of this pigment, and from that pigment, you see what you know to be bleed coming off of this.
Would I so I just sort of assumed like the papers that I had at the beginning were like research materials for my other gear.
Yeah.
Would I know anything or maybe have anything in my research materials about this corporation?
Sure, yeah. We'll say that you know, because you're using one of your gear for it, we'll say that you know that the Radiance Corporation is a corporation in Mordaunt Springs, Brittleborn. Brittleborn being near the what is it called? The mountains. I think it's Brittle something Mountains, which is why the town's called Brittleborn.
Brittleborn Mountains.
Yeah,
yep.
Brittleborn Mountains. And there is a small town up there that the Radiance Corporation bought the town. And they opened up a big factory there. And that most of the workers in that town work for the Radiance Corporation. And that they're a relatively new organization, and their work so far has been mainly like mainly industrial and mainly like just like normal, like, you know, almost like steel beam processing and stuff like that, like nothing crazy. Mainly a steelwork I don't know if it'd be steelwork actually. Mainly a steelwork company that now has created this pigment, apparently.
It's like a strange corporation to create a new color.
You already have some of the bleed, right? When I know that she had it.
You
contained.
saw her contained. Yeah, but this is uncontained bleed. Yeah.
I'm curious.
She's gonna reach out. She's gonna touch it.
Of course. Yeah. Of course you are. So you reach out.
Because I have a thing.
Yeah, so I know. You reach out and you touch the bleed. Sometimes there's usefulness and consequence. And as you do that, the pigment comes off on your finger just slightly, and you feel what Harriet felt earlier, which is a cold, tingling sensation that then makes its way down your hand, and as it does so, almost as if your hand was like being scanned in a way, you see this line of glowing green go down your hand, and you see your bones and your knuckles and the interconnecting pieces of your joints as it kind of goes down and goes up your arm, and you feel it spread itself throughout you, and I have a visitor. And it feels like a horrifying sensation, and yet on Victoria's face is either neutral or perhaps maybe even just the slightest tinge of amusement.
A little bit of glee, yes.
Yeah. And you take a bleed.
Okay, I would like to use my weird skill, Let Them In,
Mm-hmm.
which whenever I take one or more bleed marks, I also gain additional information about the phenomenon that harmed me. So I get to ask you a question about the source of the bleed.
You do.
With this idea of the manufacturing facility, but we've seen obviously a lot of different types of bleed.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to know if this is manufactured or natural.
Okay. So, as you let yourself, I mean, Victoria might seem like insane, and maybe, she's like otherworldly in that way. But there's a cleverness, and, Victoria knows what she was doing when she touched this blade, and as you absorb it and allow yourself to feel this effect, your eyes roll in the back of your head, and you get visions, flashes. You see a factory, you see a town destitute, you see skin with glowing veins underneath, you see brittle bones falling, you see sagging flesh, you see a mine, you see a cave, an underground, and you see a flash of movement, a dark entity, furred, a growl. Then you're back to normal. And your wits are with you once again. You're seeing Harriet in front of you. And you know that not only does this source of this pigment come from something natural, but it comes from something very dark.
I'm gonna assume you had a really good reason to do that.
Oh, yes.
Right?
Oh, yes. It's a cave. Underground.
What's a cave?
This.
This crate?
No. No, silly. Let's find the others, maybe.
As you say that, Archibald comes around the corner, and you see your two compatriots standing over this crate, just as from the other side of the curtain, a young woman walks in and says, "This is the area of the green room. The crates are over there. I'm not quite sure which one was hers, but and you literally see your teammates surrounding this crate."
Jane is pissed, always one step behind everybody.
And she looks at you and she says, "Thank you again for your kind words. I much appreciated. And please stay back here as long as you like, but just be careful." And she says, I must return to my duties."
And I'll put my hands on her shoulders and say, "Just remember, if you need to take a breath, do it. Everything else can wait."
You see her blush just slightly, and she walks away. And the four
I
of you
watch her walk away. I'll turn to everybody else.
It's a Victorian dress. You don't see much, but
those ankles though.
I have a vivid imagination.
And yeah, the four of you are reunited. Great.
Victoria was just telling me about a cave.
Yes,
Hey, how did you learn about a cave?
I touched it.
Why would
Touched a cave?
Oh,
I'm
silly.
confused.
sorry, I have my bleed detector out and I like see that
Oh yeah,
it's
there's
pointing in
bleed
that direction.
actively in this. Right. Yeah.
Are you telling me that you put your hand in there willingly?
She like goes like this and goes.
Yes,
What did
of
it-
course.
What did it feel like? Like, what did you experience?
Cold. Not pleasant.
Hmm.
It
I'll
comes
take a
from
step back. I don't want no cold.
comes from a cave or a mine underground. And there's a something with fur.
Got all that from touching the pigment?
Her eyes get a little wider, and she like nods.
Sure. Yeah.
Fascinating. Harriet, can you contain the rest of what's in there?
Would my thing contain more? Or
I
would
will
let
say
out what's in there?
I will say because it's like a remnant of what was captured before, you can contain the rest of this in the same vial if you would like.
Nice.
Okay.
I will say it's going to require a roll
Okay.
because this is the opening of one contained vial, and it's a much tighter area. It's like almost like operation, like you're trying to get it while not like touching the other parts.
Yeah.
So I will say that this is. Let me make it something that's like good for your character though, so that you have a bit of a. I'll say that this is. I'm gonna say that this is a move check for you because
Great.
navigate is listed there for move.
Yeah.
So you can use a drive. You can just roll the 2. I know it's a gilded action for you, whichever you prefer.
Yeah, I'm gonna use a drive and use a gilded dice. So that's 3 total, right?
That'll be 3 total. Yeah, and if you take your gilded die result, you will get that drive back.
Come on, big money.
Can I also? I'm gonna give you a drive as well.
Yeah, you can. So you can take a drive away from what is that? Nerve.
Nerve.
And now you'll have 4 die.
Great. Yes, I got a 6 on my gilded die.
Amazing!
Yeah!
All right.
Is that
did you
not
get
a
any
critical?
other 6s, by the way? It would be a critical if there was other 6.
I did. I
Yeah.
got 2 6s.
Okay, so that is a critical success. So what I will say with that is, so you get your drive back as well as JMO gets her drive back.
Hell yeah!
And so you are able to navigate this box and contain all of the bleed, and I will also say.
Get a little kiss on the cheek from a flying angel.
Mosquitoes?
Little kissy.
Really?
And you know what? Because it was this is a one shot, whatever. So because it was a critical success, you also feel the brief bleed that was within you from this dress escape from your skin and go into this vial, and you have healed.
Hell yeah!
You have healed your 1 bleed mark.
Nice.
Yes.
Love
All right,
it.
let's end there. That's
Good job, guys. You figured it out.
Yay.
Assignment done.
Is there anything
Yay.
else anyone wants to look about in here? If we know the source here, I've got some directions that we can take this case. If
Does
not,
your bleed detector still detect anything?
It does not.
yeah, no, it doesn't.
I'd like to read my books, but I don't think this is the right place to do it.
No,
I'm gonna
we
say
can-
no.
All right, then I say we leave from here, go to the nearest, tavern, make a plan on what we do next, and then execute that and coalesce our information from what we've ascertained. How does that sound? Or rather, we can go to my office. We're on the
Tavern
college
sounds
campus.
like your
more
office?
fun. A tavern sounds more fun.
Well, but
That's
his
fair.
office also is a little bit more secluded.
It's closer.
We'll say I usually get a couple people that recognize me when I go to a tavern, so
Well,
it's
all
not to
right.
brag or anything. Okay, awkward silence. I was just saying.
All
Like
right,
some
well,
discretion in
All right, your
discussing.
office it is.
for the sake of brevity, we will say that you
Drink.
are able to. I hate you guys. That you are able to leave the scene of the crime unscathed. As you leave, that the OUP has fully collected everything that was left, and as Archibald would know, will be taken to get incinerated. And you head to Archibald's office. Archibald passes out some wine or whiskey for whoever would like to partake. And you are seated in front of a stoked fireplace, ready to discuss where to go next.
All right, so here's what I know. Cecil Wallace was the person who seemed to have discovered this pigment, or who at least gave this dress, was acting very manic in Silver Slip towards pretty much anyone boasting of this discovery. He worked for the Radiance Corporation. What did you say about the brass ring? I wrote down brass ring and not
The Brass Ring was the tavern that he was in.
Was the tavern in Silver
but
Slip.
he also let you know that if the tavern was in Silver Slip, but if he's a wealthy person, he's not from New Fair, which means he doesn't live in Silver Slip.
Yeah.
He was just found there.
Wallace is not a name that is known around there as a family name.
When he says Cecil Wallace with your research papers, Harriet, you know Cecil Wallace to be the head of the Radiance.
Yeah, Cecil Wallace is the head of the Radiance Corporation and left Vera a note in her crate.
What was on that note?
It was just a message of good luck, but it seemed oddly personal to leave a note.
Or a jab at her if he knew it was going to happen.
I mean, there's no way that he couldn't have known that this would happen. I mean, from a few seconds that Mr. Mercer touched the dress, and for the few seconds that you also touched the pigment in the box, I mean, the effect was instantaneous. Mr. Mercer said he only held the dress for 10 seconds.
Well, you
Yeah.
said Cecil was acting mad, right?
Yeah, he did. He also said that, and quite confidently, that his family were tax lawyers. Do we know if there's anything that's gone on with the Radiance Corporation and anyone looking into their, maybe some unseemly activities?
I flipped
Well,
through my
wouldn't-
research papers.
Donald be targeted if it was
Yes, that's
about
what I'm
his
thinking.
family? Why wouldn't he just
That's-
kill Donald if his parents are the ones they'd be after?
Wouldn't it be better to make him suffer for longer than to kill him? Sorry, it's a little harsh, but
Well, yeah, but, I mean, it could be it.
anything in your research materials, Harriet?
You don't notice any connection between any active lawsuits or anything with the Radiance Corporation. The only thing that you know money wise or tax wise is the fact that once again the Radiance Corporation bought out this town, Morden Springs, and that they reportedly have, like I said, the town is working for them, and it's reportedly not the greatest conditions, but you don't notice any connection between the Mercer law firm and the Radiance Corporation. It does seem to maybe be that they truly just met each other at this bar.
Harriet, you mentioned something about a cave. Is this
That was
perhaps...
That was Victoria.
Who? I looked at the wrong person. Said that. Yes, sorry, Miss Shaw. What did you talk about with a cave and something furry?
So I think I'd be on the side with my arcane text that I brought.
Yes.
Flipping through and trying to find any information about this. So as he's asking, I'm looking through that to see if there's any reference to a furry evil being underground.
I would say that what you get from that arcane text is a lot of thinnings are located underground. Thinnings being
Mhm.
where the area between our realm and the far realm um, is the most accessible.
Yep.
A lot of those are tend to be underground, and there have been written testimonies of creatures that literally evolve with these thinnings and like gain attributes and abilities that they naturally would not have been able to do otherwise, as they are affected by these thinnings and the bleeds around them. And you don't find anything specific about a creature of this kind
Mhm.
in Mordant Springs, but it definitely kind of solidifies to you that this is most likely not a something that the Radiance Corporation has manufactured, but something that they are taking advantage.
I think there might be a mine or a cave underneath the Radiance Corporation.
Hmm.
I saw a
That would mean that
factory and then the cave and then the monster.
that whole town is at risk.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
Well, we
sure that
know
entire town is bleed on it.
it's yes has an effect on people when they have a small exposure to it, but prolonged exposure leads to what happened to that poor woman. I mean, she
Yes.
tried it on, it's been shipped, and she had to touch it to try it on it before the show, and
At
Donald touched
least
it, and
at least 10 minutes of exposure. At least. We don't even know how long the act was going on
right.
before that. I mean, I think our first move, now that we know kind of the direction we're heading, I think we first need to find Cecil Wallace before the OUP does. The OUP is going to take him in and probably ship him off to what's the name that I looked up last time I checked? The Bracelet Sanatorium. And once he's there, he's there.
Yeah, I think it'd be crucial for us to be able to either corner him or set up a meeting with him to question him as needed. And I think I know a guy, and I'm gonna use my I know a guy.
um, and what is well, yeah. So, what specifically are you trying to find?
So I'd like someone that can either like is close enough to him maybe or knows of him that would know how we could find him and set a meeting, or is closer where they could set up a meeting for us.
I would say you think of a young man named Booker Davis.
Booker
And
Davis.
he didn't come to you immediately because this was something he kind of mentioned to you in passing. But Booker Davis is a man he's a reporter for the city of New Fair, and tends to try to get stories of the down and dirty of New Fair, and has met you at taverns, has met you at the Red Lamp District. You've almost gotten um, like a colloquial like friendship with this guy from just like being at the same locations. He even did a story on you for one of your shows as kind of like just like an act of friendship almost. Was like, hey, if I make this story, like you might get more, you know. So that's how you
Yeah.
know Booker Davis. And the last time you guys were having drinks together, he did mention a story he was doing on the Radiance Corporation, and he actually said he was going to go to the town of Morden Springs to basically like work on this story, and that he was going to be, and he'd let you know that to let you know that he wouldn't be in the city for a few days, and so you would know that if you went to Mordon Springs, you would know somebody who's been already actively like looking into this and
Mm-hmm.
would probably have some connections that you could use.
Yeah. Well, I if Morden Springs is where we go next, I know someone we can talk to that likely will have a lot of information for us.
I hope so. I am concerned that Cecil is manic. That's a pretty severe stage of,
Mm,
bleed pollution or whatever you want to call it. Um,
yeah,
so we might
agreed.
we'll move fast and hopefully get there before the OUP does. Anyone else have any ideas before we adjourn
And just
head
so
in
you,
that direction.
yeah, I was about to say, and just so you know, just like for your character's sake, because your characters would know this, it is an entirely different town, and it is outside of the city. But by train, it'll take you roughly 30, maybe 40 minutes to get to Mordon Springs. So it's definitely like a still, and it's like at this point, because it was like a dark and stormy afternoon. At this point, we're in the early evening. You're looking at like 5-ish. So you could get to Mordon Springs by 6:30 if you left.
Could set up a dinner with my friend, talk over some, eat some wine.
That's a great idea.
There's a train leaving soon.
I'm sure there is.
I happen to have a hill train scheduled to rise.
One of your gear items is just train schedule.
Could you imagine? What a
There is an empty slot on gear.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Wow.
A ride-in train schedule.
Oh my god, free train pass.
Well, I don't think there's any time to waste then. Finish your drink if you have one. I sip the brandy and put the bottles and stuff back in the very extensive liquor cabinet I have in my office. And
Yes, this
lock
wine
it
was
into-
delicious. Thank you. I very much appreciate a good glass of wine.
No, yes. Quite an old bottle. It was gifted to me by a friend who actually fought in the war. We don't have time for this.
Now we have time
and
for
you all-
pleasantries.
And you all head to the train station to catch the last train of the evening to Mordon Springs in the Brittlebone Mountains. And as we do that, we will go ahead and take a little bio break. So we will be right back. Stand up, stretch, and get some water, but stay tuned because it will.
Hell yeah.
Hi, welcome back to Charmed Persons. Hope we had a great break. Without further ado, let's just get right back into it. So, our players have taken the train to Mordaunt Springs, Brittleborn, in the Brittleborn Mountains, and as the train slowly pulls into the station, find yourselves. Well, that's a little bit too loud. You find yourselves in the town of Mordaunt Springs. Deep.
I pull away from my conversation with Harriet and go, fascinating. Your story is interesting. Now, where should we go from here?
Deep.
Jane's just
in-
sitting across from you.
Sorry,
Eyes.
sorry.
Deep in the Bridleborn Mountains, as far as the rail will take you, lies the town of Mordaunt Springs. A massive factory looms along the bitter river, and the sounds of explosives shake nearby cliffs. This is a company town, a place where the Radiance Corporation pays the workers in a currency that they can only spend at the company store. Settlers who lived on this land sold mineral rights to the corporation and are now working to afford the opportunity to continue living on their own small farms in their family homes. The people here are hard of head and hand, but soft of heart from members of their community. You see that although the sun might not have completely set at this point, it might as well have, as the air is darkened by a smog and smoke from the nearby factory. The people that move to and fro here in this city seem to be slightly destitute, downtrodden. It is a small mountain town, industrial town, and, especially like, I don't want to make character decisions for you, but maybe Archibald or anybody who would consider themselves more upper class takes a moment of, just like getting acclimated to this just like sheer filth that is this town. But you have arrived in the town of Mordaunt Springs. Jane would know that Booker Davis, if that is the first route that you would like to go, would most likely be at the probably one and only tavern or pub here in this town. So that would probably be the place to look for him. You also can head to the factory if you would like to. You can head to the company store, or you can just start asking citizens around. But your time is yours, and the city is yours, Archibald.
Wherever we end up going, I would just be regularly taking out my bleed detector, and seeing, just trying to check to see if it's permeated into the town.
Yeah.
Yeah, knowing that it's a cave potentially under the actual factory, just kind of like checking to see if there's any specific things that are happening as we're going through the town.
I will keep that in mind.
Well, I know where to find my contact if that's the next step we'd like to take, or any other suggestions?
I think that's a good idea.
Mhm.
You know where you're going. Let's lead the way.
All right.
Alright.
So you start to make your way through the low-lit streets of Mordaunt Springs, and you see that there are a couple of miners and workers who are covered in, coal residue, and just general underground mess, as they, a lot of them all start to head to a central location that you eventually gather is the local pub. And it's literally called A Hole in the Wall. And you walk into this low-lit tavern, and you see that there are miners, a lot of miners in this establishment.
Shouldn't they be in school? Sorry.
To clarify, that is mineral miners.
I was about to ask where their parents are, so
It wasn't just me. I just pulled the trigger.
God.
And there seems to be a group of people who are just like not necessarily workers at the workers at the mine or at the factory. You see a lot of factory workers too, but maybe some people who do just continue to live here. Whether that be their job is like at the company store or something else. There's also the Radiance Corporation pays for a group of enforcers that basically like act as like the police here in Mordaunt Springs and kind of thing in line. So they're kind of like a paid for police. But pretty easily in the corner, you find drinking alone, currently writing down in a journal of his. You spot Booker Davis.
I would
And go ahead. Yeah.
I would ask everybody to like get a table big enough for the 5 of us.
Mm-hmm.
And that I was just gonna go meet with him so he's not bombarded by a whole group and kind of fill him in a little bit, and I'll bring him over in just a minute.
Okay, yeah. So while the 3 of you go get a table for everybody, you approach Booker at this high top that he's sitting at by himself. His hat's on the table, his jacket's on the back of his chair, his sleeves are rolled up. You see, he kind of pushes his head through his hair, and he looks over and sees you approaching, and he says, "Well, if it isn't the amazing Poggle, how you doing?"
Don't call me that. It's good to see you, Booker. And I'll give him a little kiss on the cheek.
He smiles and he says, "Well, I never know what stage name you're using these days."
Yeah, I've been using one, and it's Scarlet Whisper, and you know that, but that's okay.
Oh!
I just, I know so many people of note,
Sure. Just another name, I'm sure.
What the fuck are you doing here?
Yeah, well, I knew you'd be here, so I came into town for a less than fun circumstances, unfortunately. And I'll kind of fill him in that, mainly saying there's a group of us that are kind of digging in a little bit deeper into these events that happened that you missed at the expo, and kind of give him all of the like baseline of it was this person's there's this new pigment that has something to do with this person and this factory, so like not really diving into the cave or anything like that, but just definitely dropping like Cecile's name and Cecile Wallace, and that it's called Underdark, that it's definitely trailed back to the factory, Radiant Corp, and I know he missed all of that happening, so really also just letting him know that like this big event happened, and ending with, so I'd like to bring you over to the group that I am with, and if and they'll probably have a lot of questions for you of just what you've noticed while being here, and if you have any information that could be mutually beneficial to
As you
the
kind of
both
like
of us.
unload all this information on him, you definitely see in certain parts of the information a lack of surprise in what you say, but then also like genuine surprise, especially when you mention the events at the exhibition. And he says, "Yeah, I have a feeling with what you're saying that we could be of equal benefit to each other." Were you friends?
Well, they snagged a table for all of us. We just took a train in, so we haven't eaten, so we'll probably just grab some food and drinks and chat over dinner, if that works for you.
Yeah, I should probably get some grub. Yep, sounds good. And he starts standing up, put his hat on his head, just kind of a little skew, throws his
And I'll,
jacket
like,
over his arm.
Lead him away and, like, throw over my shoulder. My treat, of course. Walk to the table.
Yeah, as you're walking away, as you're walking away, he says, "I would expect nothing less." And you all are approached by, "Hey, come back! I'm here! Hi, me!" Hey!
Booker, calm down.
my face, man.
You are all approached by Jane, followed by Booker Davis. Kind of like, definitely immediately eyes all of you. He like nods over to Archibald. Seems a little nervous when he looks at Victoria. Looks at Harry, gives her a nod. And then he
I
just
stand to shake for Booker's hand.
he goes to shake your hand, and it's a real like, it's like super casual, and it's like a real like, "Hey, how you doing?" handshake. And
I respond in
shakes a
kind.
little bit too much, yeah. And then he turns the chair around and then sits with his front on the back of the chair, and he puts his hat down on the table. And he says, sounds like the four of you have had an interesting afternoon, at the very least."
Yes, I'm
Indeed.
sure our colleague gave you all the necessary information.
Yeah. And to be honest, not all of it came as that much of a surprise to me. I feel we can be beneficial to.
Why is that not a surprise?
Well, there's something going on.
And
Something
Booker,
happening.
before we get too much further, I do want to say our involvement, the four of us, off the record. I think information that may be delved can be discussed, but I will say at the very least, I don't think, and I don't mean to speak for everyone, but I know at least myself, and specific named involvement, preferably off the record.
Oh, most definitely.
All right. Would it be all right if I have your information on the record, but keep you as an anonymous source off the record? And if there's any information that you specifically don't want me to print, other than your names or your organization, and he kind of looks at Jane, then, you know, other than that, if there's anything past that, just let me know. But the information, I have rights to print.
Unless otherwise said.
Unless otherwise said.
Yes.
So what I can
For
tell
me,
you...
again, I want to speak for myself and not others.
No, I agree. Good.
Works for me.
Very good.
To be honest, that's probably the way I would have treated it anyway. I feel like the Radiance Corporation has some ties with some wealthy individuals. Cecil Wallace, he's the head of the corporation, and he's a businessman at heart. That's what he does. And I've tried interviewing him, and he just kind of skirts around everything that's happening to this town. Clearly, something that they are finding in that mine is affecting the workers. There's some kind of substance that they're finding in the mine, and that they're getting from the mine itself, and they're using it to make this thing undock. And people are getting sick in the town because of it. Oh, sorry, Archibald. Yeah, what's up?
Oh no, you finish. This is
Okay.
I'm gonna do something while during this is happening, but I want to
Okay,
know this
cool.
first.
And he says, people are getting sick, their bones are becoming brittle, they get aggressive, some start attacking. It depends on how you are how you come in contact and the duration. It's all a certain amount of variables. There's a clinic, I guess you could say, kind of a homemade place. There's this person, Olu. They're good. They're a good egg, and they're trying to help the people that the corporation is denying responsibility for. They've done what they can to fight the adverse effects of this undock, but it's mainly delayed the inevitable, which is if you spend too long with it, you're kind of a goner. And Cecil is kind of denying everything that's going on. The workers are... There's not much they can do. They don't have much power. They have to continue to work to provide for their families. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much what I know and what I've gotten. So I can get you in contact with Olu if that's who you'd want to talk to. I can try to get you in contact with Cecil. I can at least get you inside the factory. I can get you in contact with someone who's been, well, who's currently fallen ill with everything that's going on. But yeah, there's all kinds of options. What do you need?
Go ahead, Evan.
During this conversation, specifically after the part where they're like, Radiance Corporation knows a lot of wealthy people, I'm looking around the room to see if anyone is watching this conversation.
Yeah, make a survey check.
Beyond going like, people.
Yeah, for sure. No, make a survey check, and so however many action points.
Hell yeah.
Nice.
Do I want to? No, I'm afraid since we're about to go into the belly of the beast, I'm gonna need all my drive.
Okay, so you're just gonna use the 2?
I'm gonna use the 2 that I got. Yeah.
Okay.
Got a 6.
Got a 6. Okay.
Yeah.
Complete success. You do see that over at the bar there are 2 rough-looking individuals who are dressed in finer clothes than most of the people here, who are actively watching the conversation and are like focused on Booker. And now that Booker's talking to you, focused on all of you.
I lean in. I lean into Booker, and I say very quietly, like enough so that we at the table can also hear, but like specifically letting him know.
Yeah.
There's 2 gentlemen at the bar that are watching us. I'm going to finish this sentence. You're going to laugh at a hilarious joke. You all are. We're going to pay our tab and get out of here as if we're old friends. We are being watched. All right?
And I'll reach over and grab Booker's hand, since I was the one to talk to him first. Like, I don't know, he's a lover, and I'm introducing him to my friends.
I don't know.
Yeah.
He's a lover.
Like, I don't know.
I would say, I mean, Booker, Booker's a man of the people. He really, he's been in similar situations to this, so he immediately, grabs your hand, puts his arm around you, kind of leans in, and then, stands up with, a slap on the table, and is like, all right, well, I guess that's me for the evening, and kind of initiates, a stand-up from all of you.
Oh, yes, right.
So soon, but we'll be in town, I think, for a day or 2, but where's the place where can we meet you while we're in town?
Well, I'm staying upstairs.
Oh, great, perfect. Well, we'll drop by at another time. Do you get nice aeration in that room? I just flung the dice at me. You get nice aeration in that room. Is there, can you open a window to let out the stifling heat or anything?
Yeah. There's a window.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I
hope
think
you get some stuff. Yeah, it's a bit warm.
join him upstairs. No offense to all of you, but
no, I'd love to.
coming to visit. Yeah.
And he starts flirting with you as he says, "Well, I'll see all the rest of you. It's a pleasure meeting you." He's like very flustered by like what's going on, but he's like keeping his cool as he takes Jane upstairs. And what do the rest of you do?
All right, folks. I say we look about the town, and lean into both of them and go underneath the window and see if they come out or if we go up. Up and down. Okay. Let's take a look around the town. This has
Okay,
been
so you all
lovely.
we'll say like as if people were leaving, you paid for what you had, and because it took him a while to tell you everything, and you guys to tell him what happened at the World Fair, so you probably had a little bit of a dinner. You were there for like 30 minutes or so at least.
Ooh.
Yes, Victoria.
As we're leaving, she would lean to Archibald because he's kind of taking control at the moment. She goes,
Do you want me to try and get some more information from the people who are watching?
Oh, no, not yet. I have a feeling we'll have some, I think we'll have plenty of time, because I have a feeling they're going to be keeping an eye on us. So, have something in your back pocket. I know you have many things in there.
Amazing.
I do one of these as Victoria walks out. So cool.
So the three of you exit the building and kind of find your way slinking into an alleyway where yes, Jane.
I was gonna say, as we head upstairs, I'll let him lead the way, and I'll slap his butt, knowing that he's probably very uncomfortable with this interaction
Okay.
and having to pretend to be lovers. And I'm just
Yeah.
like
"Man."
pushing his buttons just like a little bit, because I feel
Oh my
like that's the kind
God!
of relationship we have.
For
is
sure.
like,
Yeah.
and so I'll give him a little slap just to like really play it up, but
Um,
also
my
know
God.
that it makes him uncomfortable.
you do that, and he kind of like, and to play with you right back, he turns back to you, and he gets very close to your face. He leans in, and then he kisses you on the cheek, and he walks up. And as soon as you guys
Jane
get to the
genuinely giggles and follows him.
and as soon as you guys get to the top of the stairs, he looks at you. Fuck you. And he opens the door and like gestures you in, and you walk in. He immediately, it's just like a normal like room above a pub, and he immediately walks over to the window, pushes it up. After a second, you guys turn the corner, and he looks down, and he just like, right, now what? Now what the fuck?
Do we come up there? Or do you want to come down here? We can do either.
Yeah, I don't know. Hey, you, Jane. It's gonna be easier for us to go down and then go up.
Fine, yeah.
And it's just on the second story, so he just starts climbing out the window, hangs himself down from the sill, and then just like drops down to the ground. And you can do so if you would like.
I was trying to think if there was like a fun magic-y thing she could do, but I think she just does the same.
Yeah.
She
Throws a
doesn't
smoke
want to
bomb and then
use
drops.
her.
No,
If
she
you-
pulls
Actual
out
powers
she
yet.
pulls out all of these
Yeah, it's just like-
stars and then tosses it down.
Ties it and like repels down.
I'm actually gonna say that is what you do because that's
Yeah.
amazing. That's so funny. And you tie it just with the perfect knot that as soon as you get there, you like pull it in a certain way and it comes loose and like falls out the window. And you
I'll just start stuffing it back in my cup.
As you're looking around.
Should we go?
Archibald, specifically because you noticed it, you do hear the door to the building open, and then heavy footsteps head in the alleyway's direction.
Oh shit.
I quickly yell, not yell. I quickly tell everyone to like hide
Yeah.
and just do that, and I get down as close as I can to not like the exact corner. So if they turned the corner, they'd be like facing me, but like a little bit further.
Uh-huh.
And in that moment, I ready my hand weapon.
Ooh, okay.
I take my cane and like tilt the handle down a little bit,
Uh-huh.
and a little thing pops up, and a trigger comes down as a cane gun, like
Oh,
forms from this.
Yeah.
Amazing.
And I just like twist it and it cocks for a second, and then I just sit and wait for them to pass in front of me if they come down that way.
Yeah. So I'll say first roll a hide check for me because you're wanting him to pass you on the corner. but you're not hiding behind anything. So why would he pass you?
So what's in the alley? I should say.
It's
'Cause
just
if
an alley. Just
there's like no like dumpster or
Nope.
anything.
Nope.
Maybe I don't do that.
I mean,
Maybe
you can wait and surprise him if he turns the corner, but the hiding part is a little harder.
You know what? I don't do that. I do not. You don't know I have that. I pull out my pipe. I pull out my pipe and like tobacco, and start readying the pipe and just like stand in the alley and start to smoke while I wait for him.
Okay, what does everybody else do?
Did he tell us to hide?
I mean, that's up to him.
Yeah, but if it's an empty alley, there's
I
not
mean, you
really
can go further down the alley if you want to.
I think at the very least, I would take Booker and run because we're supposed to be upstairs.
Yeah. Okay.
And so I'll be like, we should go.
So you take Booker and you guys run to the back of the pub.
Yeah, I made the mistake of thinking of a Chicago alley in my head, thinking there were dumpsters.
No, I
and-
understand. Yeah.
We're like, yeah, we can hide there.
No, I get it.
hang
I get
out.
it. No, this is literally
I'll-
just a space between two buildings.
I'll hang out with Archibald. I'm pretty scary.
Okay. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
What do you do? Are you okay?
Me too. I inhaled some popcorn.
Oh no!
Are
So
you
I'm
all right?
recovering. Totally.
Okay, cool. And you stay in the alleyway? Okay, so Harriet's,
Yeah.
Harriet's sobbing in the alleyway. And Jane.
And if the
takes Booker
alleyway is
back.
long enough, and because I assume it's a dead end alley, yes.
No, it's an alleyway that leads to the other street behind the pub.
Okay, then yeah.
Well,
I'll just
actually, you
turn the
would pass
corner.
it. So it's like it's two rows of buildings with their backs to each other. So it's like you go past the pub, then it's like you're passing by like a residential building maybe, and then there's another street.
Okay, yeah. Then we'd run to the other street and just take the corner, but like wait
Yeah.
right.
But
Across
just
the
wait right
corner.
there. Yeah, and you can even like peek and
Yeah.
see what's going on. So
Pick out
easily
my
enough,
compact mirror and just.
yeah, there you go. Yeah, easily enough, you all run back, and the one of the tough guys who is watching you turns the corner, and he is surprised and put off by the fact that you guys are like kind of like waiting for him. It was like a power move almost, and he kind of like stops for a second. He says, "Good evening."
Evening. How are you?
Good. And he looks at your pipe. And then he reaches into his pocket and he pulls out a metal case that he pops open and pulls out a hand-rolled cigarette and closes it. And then he lights it.
Ah, the fellow tobacconist, I see.
Yeah, sure. Back in this. Like a smoke.
May I ask, what strain of leaf do you have in there? Mine's a little bit more of a mixture, but I've been trying to get my hands on more pure...
I don't know, guy. It's tobacco.
Oh, I got you. I'm so sorry. Mine seems to have gone out. Do you have a light?
Gives you a matchbook. Know how to use those, I suppose.
Thank you. Yes, I do. I mean...
He kind of, as you're like doing that, he looks over at Victoria. What's your deal? Why you guys in town? You're not from here.
Oh, we're meeting
She'll
with...
like walk up to him a little bit
Yeah.
and just like big eyes.
Hey, what the fuck?
we're meeting with Mr. Wallace. At least I am. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
She just shakes her head and smiles. Too wide.
Okay. Darling, you can back up. You're meeting Mr. Wallace. And so he backs up.
That's what I thought.
You're meeting
that
Mr.
was
Wallace, huh?
That was our intention. We briefly met in Silver Slip. For a moment, he told us to meet him at the factory for whatever reason, and he seemed awfully excited about his invention that was to be at the fair, the exhibition. So we thought we'd pop by and take a look.
Right, I'm gonna need you to roll a sway check for me.
Good, because I got 2 on that, and I'm gonna use a
drive?
A drive.
Make
yeah,
it 3?
my-
Yeah, go ahead.
Yep. All right.
It's a kind of a
Nope,
high
I think
stakes
that's
roll. Not a high stakes roll, but there's definitely You know, you want to convince him for sure.
Yep. I tried to phrase it in a way that was sway and not anything else.
For sure, yeah.
Oh.
What is it?
That is, the highest is a 3.
That is a failure. He looks at you and he says, that's interesting because he also met Donald Mercer in the Silver Slip and told him about a dress. And we've been working with him. He never mentioned another partner. As a matter of fact, I'm pretty sure none of you have ever met Cecil Wallace. So, because you're lying to me, might I ask, takes one hit, throws it on the ground, stamps it out. He pulls back his jacket just enough to reveal a blade that is sheathed. But he doesn't pull it out. And he says, "What are you really doing here in Mordant Springs?"
Looks like we're buggered, Miss Shaw. And I take the end of the pipe and I hit it, and all the ash flies into directly.
Ooh, okay, yeah, for sure. Okay, so are you attempting to, basically like distract, not distract, but like make him, what is the word I'm looking for? You're trying to something him so that you guys can run away?
Basically blind
yeah.
smoke bomb him to get further down the alley where there's more of us who are definitely better at fighting than I am.
For sure. Do Victoria and Harriet take this opportunity to run, or do you take this opportunity to do something else? I will definitely say, even without rolling something, you do that, and he starts just like coughing and like waving in front of his face. So you do have a second. So Archibald starts to hurriedly run to the other side of the alleyway. Victoria, Harriet, what do you guys do?
I think that I would already have had a hand on. I also have a hand weapon, which I feel like is just like a kind of fancier pocket knife.
Okay.
And I would have like had that really ready, and as soon as I saw him do that and start to run, I'll run, but still like ready.
Okay, yeah, sure. Easily enough. You get out your pocket knife, unswitch the blade, you start running with Archibald. What do you do, Victoria?
Can I reach
yes.
into my pocket? Okay, I'm gonna reach deep into my pocket and I'm gonna pull out
the dress of many things, apparently.
The dress of
Victoria's
many things. He's gonna pull out a handful of round rocks or beads or marbles or something, because she collects all these strange things, and she's gonna put them on the ground at his feet, like crouch down and put them at the ground, so hopefully when he goes to take his first step he'll fall.
Yes, no, I love it.
And then she'll hike up her dress and start running.
So you definitely can do that. When I'm trying to describe, I'll just talk out loud about this. What I'm trying to decide right now is he doesn't really have stats, so should I just roll like a luck check to see what happens, or should I make this a roll for you in some way? And I'm willing to take suggestions, because I do feel like there needs to be maybe something about fate that decides this. Maybe he just slips and falls, and it gives me more time to...
He did get ashed in the face, so take that into consideration. Like, he's got shit
I
in
feel
his
like maybe
eyes.
a luck check at like disadvantage makes sense.
No, I think, you know what? I think I'm just going to say that you all sprint down the alleyway. After a second, he starts to like run after you, and he slips and he falls down on the ground, hitting his face. So what I'll say is you now have a choice. You can either fully get away from this guy to where he's not going to find you, or you now have the opportunity to like plan something, because he's definitely like taking a moment to stand back up. He slips a little bit more. He like gets the dust off himself, and then he starts heading towards you. So you have time to either escape or like plan something real quick. So whatever you guys decide you want to do.
I look at the muscle and I go.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, see what he knows, or get the fuck out. He's gonna tell his friend.
I think we have access to everything we need now.
We need Booker, and they ran, so I think we go.
Okay.
And do we want to leave him alive?
Yeah, we're not gonna...
Jesus Christ.
There's no reason.
I'm just saying, he's seen us. If we're actually trying to talk to to
He didn't see you and
Mr.
me.
Wallace.
Well, I mean, he knows me, but he didn't see you. But he
True.
He
saw
sees
you
us.
with
We
me.
don't live here. Whatever. We're not
It's
gonna
an
kill
option.
him.
I'm just throwing out ideas. I'm not
It's a fair thought,
advocating
but
for killing him, but if it's
Li-
gonna hinder our investigation.
he's literally on his face right now, so I don't feel great about killing him.
I mean, you turn him over.
All right, let's get the.
We'll just kill him.
Yeah,
Let's
let's go.
let's run.
Let's go.
And so you all run. You hide in the next alleyway, which has a dumpster. You just weren't in the right alleyway.
Of course it does.
And he runs by and like angrily like looks in both directions and he like huffs and he goes back towards the direction of, you're assuming he probably is going back to the tavern to his partner, who most likely stayed because they thought Booker and still probably think that Booker and Jane are upstairs.
Mm-hmm.
But you have successfully escaped this moment.
Right, Booker, is there another place we can hide out?
They're
They're probably still waiting for us at the tavern.
Well, I mean, we could go to the clinic, but that's really the only
True.
other place I know that's kind of like hidden.
I think that was
Should we
going to be on
just
our list of
go
people
to
to
the
talk to
factory?
anyway.
Or I could just try to get you to the factory. I mean, depending on who's on guard, I can get you into the mine itself, but it's up to you guys.
Also,
I
the
feel like-
faster we get up to the factory, the less time they have to tell them that we don't belong.
You know where it is, so we should just go there.
What
It'd be a
do we
changing
hope-
of the shift.
We hope to find at the factory, though. I mean, if everything's coming from the mine and that's the source, I feel like that might be a better place for us to go to. I mean, the
It's under the
factory
factory,
is
is it
going to
not?
do...
Yeah, that
Are
is,
they
is on the
connected?
mine in
I
the
was a-
factory.
You don't know where the mine is.
Oh.
Oh, well.
Okay.
I mean, you can assume that the mine is near but you don't know for a fact where
Right.
it is.
Okay.
But you can assume it's near the factory. Yeah.
Yeah,
I think
I
the
mean,
factory is-
What was that, Victoria?
I think the factory is right. I saw it in my vision.
Right. I'm gonna go with the bones.
Trust that.
So you start to head towards the factory.
Okay.
He takes you through that part of town. You guys move about, not necessarily super secretively, but just like keeping attention away from yourselves. And he gets you to the factory. You see that there is a factory proper, and then connected to the factory, you see that there is basically like a web of rail cars that extend from the factory and lead to a mine shaft that is just off from the factory. He says, he's kind of like looking at the situation, and he says, all right, I can either get you into the factory itself, or it looks like the guy I know is guarding the shaft, and I can get you down there. It's up to you guys.
What do we think?
does the factory have Mr. Wallace's office? I feel like that would be the only real thing I would want us to see, is if he has some sort of information there.
His office is in the factory for sure, but he might. I mean, it's a changing of the shift. It's the end of the day. He might not be there, but he might be there as well. Definitely have more of a chance to run into people who don't want you around in the factory.
That's very true.
What other information do we not have that would prevent us from just going to the mine directly? We know what the effects of this are, and we also know what the monster is, at least roughly.
Monster?
Preventing us from...
Well, evil, the general ne'er-do-well-ness of the world,
Mm-hmm.
Also something furry. How long is the shift? How long will your friend be at the mine?
It's gonna be he's not gonna be there much longer.
Mm-hmm.
I say we go to the mine while we're able to.
Yeah?
True, we have to give the OUP something to go after, and they'll probably go after Cecil.
Alright. Okay, well, follow me then. And he kind of like takes you down this like winding path, like hiding behind patrols of enforcers who kind of walk by every once in a while. And he gets up to the entrance of the mine shaft, where he sees an enforcer who's working there, and he tells you guys all to kind of just like wait patiently. And he walks to the entrance of this mine shaft, and he like shakes the guy's hand. You see an exchange of money, and then Booker looks back to where you guys are and like nods his head for you guys to come. All right, you do so, and you head past this guard, and you head into the Radiance Corporation's mine. You make your way. Actually, here, let me.
Seems like a nice place.
Here you go.
Fun.
You make your way towards the mine shaft, a large hole bored crudely into the side of the mountain. Passage within is held up by large wooden beams and illuminated by the flickering of oil lamps. The shadows of miners distant are projected around the jagged rock, their forms twisted and grotesque in the bending light. Suddenly, a man in a full-body protective suit breaches the threshold of the light within this cave and starts walking towards you. He has a rifle thrown over his shoulder and a breathing apparatus strapped around his head. In a moment, he will spot you unless you act. What do you do?
Is there anywhere to hide?
You can attempt to hide if you would like.
I say hide, everyone?
Hide.
Yeah.
Hide?
Also,
Okay.
I would have asked
Yeah.
Booker if you wanted to maybe...
He does not go with you.
Okay, good.
He
I
does
was
not
like,
go with
maybe
you.
you
Yeah.
don't need to come here.
No, he actually heads back to the tavern.
I told him to be careful and give him an actual genuine kiss on the cheek
Yeah.
as he leaves.
He says, you watch yourself, because whatever's going on down there, they don't want anybody to know. And he walks away. So are you all attempting to hide? All four of you?
If we attack this person, are we close enough to other miners and things that they would notice, or could we?
No, you seem
it
to be
be-
in a secluded ish area of the mine, and it is towards the end of the day, so this area of the mine, which would maybe be bustling during the middle of the day, is relatively empty. And so you feel an option to ambush this guy is also definitely an option for sure.
I'll tell you right now, meta slightly, I have 0 points in hide, and I've used 1 drive of 3 for that. I'd like to save that for sway, which has 2 die. Or 2 dice.
I think
So-
I'll at least try to hide.
Okay.
I have 3 drives left. I haven't used any yet, so I'm gonna go ahead and use 1. So I'll
Okay.
have 2 dice. So I have 1.
Okay,
I'll
so
also hide.
okay, and Jane, Harriet, what about you?
I'm gonna hide, but I am gonna be ready to strike if like he walks past our hiding
Yeah.
spot and it seems like I could take his rifle.
Okay, so are you saying that you want to use your sway to like distract and like pretend to be somebody, or are you just gonna attempt to hide, Archibald?
I'm gonna attempt to hide.
No, sorry, Archibald.
Oh,
I'm gonna do kind of what we did in the alley and just like be the. This is what happens when you wear a loud violet suit. I'm gonna stop him in front of where the others, like past where the others are hidden.
Okay,
Just to
so
kind of be a.
yeah, for sure. So let's go ahead, Victoria. Roll a hide check for me. You got a 5?
5.
Okay, so that's a
Nice.
mixed success, so we'll get back to that. Jane, go ahead and roll a hide check for me.
I also got a 5 with my gilded dice, so I'm gonna put
Okay.
a drive back.
So you get a mixed success with your drive back, and then Harriet.
4.
4. So that is a mixed success as well. So all of you, for the time being, are hidden. He does approach, and he immediately sees you in your violet suit. He his gas mask turns to looks at you, and you see him. His rifle is slung over his shoulder, and you see him raise it.
At ease, Mr. Wallace wants a report. Have you found it yet?
What the fuck are you talking about?
You know perfectly well what I'm talking about. There's a thing down there. I shouldn't be talking loudly about this in this very echoey cave.
What?
And I give him a look, like the look of I know what's going on, but it's definitely just.
Yeah, he looks at you like, what? You don't know where it is?
I don't. I haven't been down there, have I?
Okay. What do you want? What report does he want? What does he want to know?
Have you got it?
We've had it for a long time.
Why haven't you said anything to him?
Who the fuck are you? You don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
Yes, I do. It's large and it's furry.
Yeah, but we've had it the whole time. It's the whole reason we have this stuff. That's apparently something you didn't know. So who the fuck are you? I would say at this point, someone's gonna need to do something.
I want to try to pop up behind him and like hit him with like the butt end of my knife.
Okay.
Just try to like knock him out.
So go ahead and roll a strike check for me.
I was trying to do my best, guys.
Can I
Oh, that
strike
was
at the
really
same
That was
time?
really good.
Huh?
Can I strike at the same time?
No, but I will say you can assist if you would like.
I'm going to, if this helps your decision at all, JMO, I'm gonna use a drive and my gilded die.
And you're just going for a like head knockout kind of thing.
Mhm. So I have 3 dice right now.
Okay.
Nice.
I'll wait then, because
Okay.
Okay.
mine would be a little bit more intense.
Ooh. My highest roll is a 3.
Okay.
Actually, but I'm gonna use a 2 because that's my gilded die. If it doesn't
Okay,
make me-
and you take your drive back.
It's gonna fail anyway, yeah.
So you go to hit him, and the protective suit is harder than you thought. And the rifle fires, and I'm gonna need you to take a body mark, Archibald, as the bullet slices right through your bicep, and pings off of the wall behind you. I will say now, Victoria and Jane do have an opportunity.
Jane, you can go first. She has
I
something.
don't know if you want me to go first.
I mean,
All Jane has is this.
Smoke and mirrors, smoke and mirrors, smoke and mirrors, smoke and
yeah,
mirrors.
we didn't really pick anyone who could beat anybody
I
out,
mean-
did we?
I don't roll well, but I do have a hidden weapon, and because she's very much the magician's out of her sleeves, I feel like she has the Assassin's Creed hidden blade that she pops
Ooh.
out.
Okay, okay.
And I think instead of trying,
you can be assisted.
yeah, I think instead of trying to like necessarily like stab him with it, I would just do the like come up behind and like put it to his throat and push it against his neck enough that it like he can tell through the protective suit that there's a knife to his throat.
Okay, yeah. So I would say you can roll
More
a
of a
sway,
threat.
a sway check.
Yeah, I
kind
like
of-
sway much
To kind
better.
of threaten him, yeah, for sure.
Nice. Smart.
And I'm gonna use a drive.
Yeah.
Or another dice. Okay. That's a 6 on my gilded dice and a second 6.
Nice. Okay, so
Critical!
he feels the knife in the protective suit, and he.
And I just go shh,
He drops
like right
the
by his
rifle.
ear.
That's the extra thing that you get with the crit is he just drops the rifle.
Ooh, pick it up, pick it up.
Bless.
I grab the rifle and give it to Muscle.
Yeah, for sure. Puts up his hands. Right, what the fuck? What do you want from me?
Well, firstly, where did you get that nice suit?
In the factory.
Well, bugger. Are there any down here that aren't being worn?
If there are, they're being worn.
Gonna have to make a trip. Jesus Christ, this fucking hurts. Not the first time, but God, you forget, you know? You forget. It looks
Yeah,
like
you're
we're
lucky I
gonna have to
didn't
go-
have better aim.
You're getting a better aim. Shut up.
I'll like push the knife a little bit harder with it.
Victoria's gonna slowly rise up from wherever she's hiding. And she's like gonna be like,
Oh, what the fuck is it?
she's gonna ask,
We could ask him nicely to take his off.
Oh, that, yeah, for sure, we're going to do that. We also.
Yeah,
need-
sure, yeah, I'll take it off. Yeah, what the fuck ever.
There we go.
Listen, people are down there all the time without him, and they're fine. Okay,
No.
there's just an extra precaution.
Really? Well,
they fine?
if they'd be fine, then why are you wearing one?
Extra precaution.
He's lying.
Yeah, we've seen what happens when people are exposed to this shit, so I'm just gonna ask you to slowly take it off, please.
He slowly takes off his hooded gas mask. He takes off the rubber suit that he has on, and he's literally just in his boxers with his hands in front of his crotch.
It just
knife to his
comes
throat.
a little sexually like.
All right, now that you've humiliated me, can I go?
No. What say we get a couple more suits, and then you lead us down to where we need to go?
I'm not going near there. You'd have to kill me.
Oh, not so.
I can do that, and I'll push the knife a little bit more.
Oh, it'd be better.
Cock the gun.
Sorry, what was that, sir?
I said it'd be better.
What if you died?
Yeah.
Oh,
Saying die here rather than there.
Not
So it
if
seems
that's
like the
your skin
protective suits
falling off.
were needed.
oh, that's true. You did hear about the skin falling off. Or I'm assuming you witnessed the skin falling off part of whatever's down there.
He doesn't say anything.
If you play nice, we could get an extra suit for you to lead us down, or force you to lead us down in your boxers.
You're not going to force me to do anything.
Well,
Like I said, you'll have to fucking kill me.
all right. Well, OUP is closing in on this place, so you have two choices. You die a horrible death, because we will take you down there and you will be bait. Or you can say what you know to the Office of Unknown Phenomena, get a lighter sentence, because they're going to get you. They're going to take down most of this corporation. So I suggest you be cooperative now, so you can have a lighter sentence later. Because, you know,
Yeah, I'm
like I said,
sure
it's
the
a lighter sentence if
OUP
you go down there.
is really going to have an issue with everything down here.
I don't like that.
What do you mean by that?
I knew I fucking hated those guys.
Listen, either let me go or kill me. You're not fucking scaring me.
I kind of looked at everybody and be like, No.
We need to get more.
You said it.
We need to get more suits first, and then we can fucking kill him.
I need JMO. Well,
I think we should just kill him.
he starts to try to run away. He just starts sprinting. He takes a cut on his throat and he just starts sprinting.
I want to try to shoot him in the leg.
Okay.
I'm gonna
Roll
try
a
and shoot him in the back.
roll a strike check for me.
Kill him. He's not gonna give us it.
If I roll
Explorer.
a strike check to actually make more contact than him, just like if I feel him pulling and turn it a little bit more, it'll probably fail because I have no points in that. But
sure, yeah, go ahead and we'll have her roll the strike check
Do
first.
that
So you roll
first, yeah.
since you have no points, you roll 2 dice and you'll take the
Two,
lower.
and I take
of
the
the
lower.
two.
I rolled a 1 and a 2.
Yeah, he pushes past you. He does get a
I was
little
like,
nick
"Hey,
on his throat, but he
yeah."
pushes past. So go ahead and roll a strike check for him.
I will use a drive, and it's my gilded dice.
Okay. Also, don't forget your resistance, guys. If you have a resistance in category, you can use that to reroll.
I have it in both categories, but not nerve.
Yeah.
I got 6, not on my gilded die, but I did get a 6.
Yes.
Okay, so I'll say with a 6, you do successfully shoot him in the leg, and he falls down to the ground and screams in pain.
We're making a lot of noise, guys.
You sure
Just
are. Yep.
Throwing that out.
Yep.
Can I rip off the hem of my dress and gag him?
I'm gonna say he's in so much pain that yes, you can do so. Yeah, he does not
We'll just-
fight you.
Just pat his cheek.
There we
He
go.
continues to just try to crawl out of the.
Yeah,
Fine, Jeff.
I know we want to get the protective suits, but with all the noise we've caused, I don't think we can leave and come back easily.
You do start to hear commotion coming from the entrance of the mine shaft.
I vote we should kill him.
Yeah. You're right. I take out my cane gun and shoot him in the face.
Oh, I was gonna offer, but sure.
Easily enough, Archibald extends his cane gun, points it down, fires, and the crawling away man with a gag and a hole in his leg falls lifeless on the ground.
All right.
She's gonna untie the gag back, and she's gonna tie it around her wrist.
Okay, yeah, there's a little
What a
bit of
waste.
saliva and blood on it.
That's okay. Even
Disgusting.
better.
I get rid of the empty shell, put it in my pocket, put in a new one, cock it up, and go.
We should go.
So hide or go down to the thing. What's up?
Yes.
Should Victoria?
Could I have that extra shell?
Sure. And I take the extra shell. And
She puts it in her pocket.
She puts the empty shell in her pocket.
I take out a hanky, wipe off my hidden blade, move my wrist so it goes back, and say, I think we should just continue forward. I don't think if we hide and they find us, there's a lot more than one. So
yes.
Continue forward without suits.
I can. Who fits in that protective suit? We need one of us to have it, at least if we're going to get as close as we can.
Any of you would fit.
Well, if none of you are jumping to it, I'm fucking taking it.
All right,
Sure.
so as you all start to head further down into the mine shaft, Archibald like hopping as he's getting on the suit. But you do continue to head further in the mine shaft. As you do, you come across an area in the mine shaft where you see the. Well, before you get there, turning the corner, you see a. And as you turn the corner, you see various statues in this underground mine shaft and within you see a slight glowing green on certain points of the statues. And as you get closer, you realize that these are statues of people doing intricate poses. Almost artistic in look before you see the pained expressions on their faces. And you see flesh that has been melded into stone, contorted limbs, and areas of veins that are glowing this green, as it seems like certain people have melted into the wall, becoming a contorted dark vision against this wall as these statues just kind of line this area of the mine shaft. And all of you begin to hear in your mind, you know that sorry, hold on, just you know that bleed manifests itself in different ways, and you know that the bleed on the dress and in the crate kind of gave this like glowing x-ray tingling sensation to your body, and it also manifested as kind of like that distortion of the air, almost as if it was heated. And all of you being paranormal investigators know that in this tunnel of this mine shaft, this similar substance to what you have seen before is manifesting bleed in a different way. And it's manifesting it in a way that affects your mind. And you can hear in your mind these voices saying, "Help me. Help me. Don't stop. No. Fuck." And just also mixed with screams. And in the very back, you hear a low growl in the very back of your mind. It's definitely in your mind. It's not, you can tell, it's not something you're hearing outwardly. But you all start to hear this within your own minds. You hear it as if it is coming from these statues, and the faces that all of you are making immediately let you know that you are not alone and that you are all hearing this sensation.
Did anyone else bring a containment vial?
Oh, I definitely did.
Yes.
Yeah. I take one and I kind of like have it ready on the belt because it's outside the suit. I would
Yeah.
assume I would like have it
Sure, yeah.
out and ready, as well as my detector, which I'm looking at.
Yeah, the detector is pointing to, like, it's like stopping on all of these statues, and clearly all of these statues are emanating a bleed as they have been corrupted by whatever this substance is. Yeah.
I also have one just to note in case it's a lot,
Yeah.
or if I get there fast.
I think if there are voices in her mind, Victoria would slowly start to unwrap one of her hands.
Mm-hmm.
And if anybody pays attention to this and is looking, they would see like a bunch of scars, different lines. And she's gonna take out a blade from one of her pockets,
Mm-hmm.
and she's going to smoothly and swiftly slice her hand, rebandage, and take 1 point of body damage as she picks on her ghost blade.
Weird occultist.
And rightfully so, as you are doing this, you look up and you see one of the statues and you make eye contact with it and you start to hear this no, 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 and then it gets louder and louder, and from within this statue a glowing ethereal green visage of the same person reaches out and runs right towards you, and you immediately put out your hand, and without even rolling anything, it strikes the blade and just dissipates. And the statue in which it originated crumbles and falls to the ground.
And did
Please tell me you
did we all
laughed
see the
just
ghost?
like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You all saw the ghost, yeah.
Yeah. So my ritual knife can wound magical beings and strike invisible and ethereal enemies.
Oh,
Holy fuck. That was really cool.
you continue to fascinate me, Miss Shaw.
She
fascinate
does
me.
that weird little creepy curtsy.
I do a bow.
Oh.
I like look back between the two of them and then kind of look at Harry and be like, I ship it.
That's so
I guess
funny.
if she's straight, sure.
I know,
Oh
Damn
my
it!
god.
The
All right,
committee.
listen.
The committee decided.
That's so funny. Okay, so yeah, all of you witnessed this happened, and all of you realize, and I wouldn't say all of you realize, I would say Victoria realizes, you kind of like speak up. God, this music sucks. Hold on. Sorry.
Pause for better effect.
What, Victoria? What music are you talking about?
Oh yeah. Oh, do you hear it? It's cool.
Victoria,
This is weird, like head.
you
thing
would know
over.
that it was something about the fact that you like made eye contact with this statue that caused that to happen.
oh no.
Oh, okay. If we don't want the ghosts to come out, don't look them in the eye.
Well, do we want them to come out and be gone? Because then we could have you touch each of them.
Yeah, does your knife just like one time work and you have to cut yourself each time, or is it just like
I think
also
it's
wanna
for.
fight a
I'm
bunch of
assuming it's
ghosts?
for the session.
Yeah,
like,
it's for the assignment.
I would
yeah.
need to do it again
Okay.
for the next assignment.
Yeah,
but
no, it's for the
there's
assignment.
nothing on here that.
But
yeah.
I would say, you as an occultist would know, you had to do it because the spirit was trying to attack you. You had to. You had no other choice. But you destroyed this person's existence by doing this.
Mhm.
And if there is another way to find
Mhm.
these statues and entities at peace,
Yeah.
that would
That's a
be
good point.
something that you would maybe want to do, or maybe not. You know, that's up to your character. But in using this ghost blade, you are removing any chance of that spirit ever finding, basically.
She would like shiver, like have a shiver go down her spine almost. You could see her shiver physically, and she'd go, "It's against the rules.
Sorry, you cut out.
It's against the rules."
Yeah, okay. There's
Don't-
no eye contact then. Cool.
Don't look at the statues.
Ever since Victoria has done that, you still hear the like screeching in your mind, but it is calmed down. And then you start to hear another screeching, crying almost, a noise that you are confident a human has never heard before. Something different, something not of this world. Cries of pain and agony coming from deeper within the mine shaft.
Continue.
Yep.
We have no
I
choice.
don't wanna, but I think we gotta.
Keep your eyes down. Once we're past the statues, if we find more protective equipment, I say we acquire it. I'm guessing it's the people who coerced whoever's not in the protective equipment.
Sorry, I can't understand you with the mask. Can you
Oh,
say
sorry.
that again?
All right, so as you guys continue
Say it again
to
real quick
travel
as I
down,
go.
yeah. As you guys continue to travel down, you follow this energy. You don't see statues the entire way, but you feel this bleeding substance. And the couple times you get out your detector, I mean, it's just like the bleed is all around you in this place. You are close to a thinning. And you get further into the mine shaft, and you come across the central area of this mine. You come across the source of Undark. You see, past a small entrance, a large open cavern room. You see two workers moving to and fro, covered in protective equipment. And they're going from lab table to lab table, and you see a series of tubes and pipes that are all pumping this same liquid, this green, undark, glowing, ethereal substance. And it's not consistent as a water pipe would be. It's every moment or so you see flashes of this green liquid substance fly through these pipes and equipment. And then you see the source of the cries and the source of itself of this liquid. There's a large cage in the center of the room. And in this room is a writhing figure with tubes and pipes attached and shunted into the sides and various aspects of this creature. It's on all fours, and it is large and monstrous, covered in a dark black fur. You see almost a wolf-like presence of this creature, but with long fangs that appear in its mouth and glowing green eyes. As it is writhing in pain from the events that is happening to it. You see every time it goes to attack or it gets hurt, you see drops of the glowing green liquid fall from its fangs. And then also in the tubes shunted into it, pumps of it. Clearly, this is some kind of venom or defense substance that this creature emanates when in peril, that these workers and the people of the Radiance Corporation are using to harvest and create the pigment known as Undark. And this substance and this creature are of the far realm and are of the thinning and a result of the thinning. And so it is a supernatural creature that they are, using, for lack of a better term. And that's what you see as you enter this room. The workers have not noticed you yet. And you are whatever you're. It's up to you. I don't know why.
All right, gang, you
Struggling with
figured it out.
words.
Let's go home.
Bye. We don't have to kill it, right? Or do? Okay, wait.
I can get across the room fairly quickly and start unhooking this poor thing and
And too.
give a little coverage to us as well before I do.
Don't pull it out of the cage yet. We don't
No,
know.
no, no. I just want it to stop. It looks whatever's happening to it is in pain, and I'm just gonna take the tubes out if I can.
I'll go with you. I'll help you.
Yeah.
How many workers are in the room?
Meet me over there. I'll be there.
2.
And they're both in protective gear.
Yeah, and it's a small enough room. Like if you were to approach this creature, they will see you.
Just like I can get over there without them seeing me immediately. If you guys then can.
I can walk over there. They don't recognize me. I'm in the garb. Just start
Get
doing
them
stuff.
distracted enough, yeah.
I mean, if you distract and talk to them, like I said, they won't see me if I get to the other side of the cage.
Alright,
I kind of look to
then,
Harry of like, you know what I'm saying.
Then I'll go and do my job, I guess. Here, take my, and I give Harry my cane, and I take the rifle. I don't think they have cane guns down here.
Ooh, smart.
Good call.
That's smart. Okay.
I
cool.
sling it
Yeah.
over my shoulder and just go, motherfucker.
Yeah, definitely a little hard still. Smarts.
Smart.
And then I just walk across the room.
All right.
Meet over there.
And I don't know if you want that to go first or me to go first, but either way, I'll like walk kind of behind him for a second, and then I'll teleport to the other side of the cage.
Okay. So Victoria and Harry, you see in protective suit gear, Archibald walk forward towards these two workers, and Jane kind of like crouching, walking behind him. You see Jane focus for a moment, and right before anything happens, Jane exhales, and you see Jane's breath, almost as if it is a cold winter day, and it is very warm in here. And then Jane disappears. And back behind the beast of the creature, you see almost in a puff of that same like cold air, like as if it just appeared. You see Jane appear right behind the creature. While this is happening, Archibald, you approach the workers. Are you trying to get their attention, or are you just walking up?
I'm walking up, like in front of them, so if they would have to, from the corner of their eye, they would have to go like this. Like,
Yeah.
just right.
They do
Not saying anything.
look in your direction, hearing you approach, and one of them says, huh, "What'd you forget?"
I remember the guy's voice, right?
Yeah, it was like
Nothing.
rough. Yeah.
Yeah. Nothing. Had to piss.
Oh, right. Well, aren't you done for the day?
Nah, something don't feel right.
Okay.
I go to the. Are there like dials and controls and all sorts of stuff? Like,
Oh yeah, there's
there?
there's like all kinds of equipment.
Yeah, I'm gonna use my focus and use a drive because that has a gilded die on it.
Okay.
To figure out exactly how to stop this machine from doing what it's doing.
Okay, yeah. Roll a focus check for me.
Let me mark it.
So you
three.
can
I
have
got 3.
So you're gonna use a drive to get 3, and one of them will be your gilded die.
Yes.
Okay.
Can I give
Yeah,
him a
let me-
drive too and make it 4? Because I have all these. to bring.
100%. How do you assist him in this?
Oh, good point. Nope. Never mind. Nope.
All of a
And-
sudden, I
enough,
feel
fair
something
enough.
hit the back of my head. I look down. It's a bird skull.
You just throw a skull at him.
It's really just for good luck. It's just. It's
so
just,
I'll do.
yeah.
I'll do 3 with my gilded die, or plus the drive. So
Yeah.
one of them needs a die. So I'm gonna use the gilded die because that's a 4.
Okay. So,
Next.
So I can get rid of that. I gained that drive back.
So I'll say with a mix, so you're using the gilded drive, so you gain the drive back.
Yep.
But you're using a mixed success. So what I'll say is you quickly figure out how to stop like the pumping of this machine, but you know that it'll draw immediate attention to you.
Okay, yeah, I feel like I would know that and not immediately try to do it.
Yeah, no, that was just the focusing of the you didn't. That wasn't the doing of it. That was like the figuring
That's
it
smart.
out. Yeah.
Yeah, I would want to take one more focus to see if these like things are locked into the creature or if it's like as easy as just going.
I mean, that's what I would. Also
that's what you're doing.
So.
Right?
Yeah, you're not near the creature. Yeah. So once you figure out if you can stop the machine or not, what do you do after that?
I would say I would see what those two are doing.
Okay, so you're just kind of like standing guard, paying attention.
Yes.
Because they're just kind of like they're just moving to and fro. It seems like they're doing inventory, making sure that everything's working smoothly. One of them honestly seems to be kind of bored. And so while this is happening, and while Jane is behind the creature, Victoria and Harry, what are you kind of paying attention?
Yeah, I would just, if I saw a moment, because I'm fast, so if I saw a moment when I could go over to where Jane is, I would, but if it seems like I'm gonna get caught, then I'm just sort of standing there as backup.
Yeah, it's a small enough room that like she didn't even teleportation was the only way to basically get there. And the only reason she's not being seen is because the creature's large, because it's still a cage, so you can see through the cage. So especially if another person went over there, it'd be a little bit.
Yeah, I'm just gonna keep watch.
Okay.
Basically.
Victoria?
Can I do so under sense it says attune, almost to see is there something we're missing? Like obviously we know the basics of this, but is there something here that would spark my attention towards that thing is dangerous? We haven't paid attention to it yet. Obviously we know the mechanics of it. We know the beast is contained but probably still very dangerous, and there's 2 people, but if there's something else going on, can I do a sense check?
Yeah, roll a sense check.
Okay, I'm gonna use a drive for this then. So that's 2 dice, one of which is gilded, plus a 3rd.
Perfect.
And okay, there is a 6, but my gilded is 5, but I'm just gonna use the 6 and make sure I get this right.
We're towards the end of the assignment,
That
makes
was my
sense.
thought.
So you look over at this creature, and this creature is the backs of the workers are to you, but this creature is facing you.
Mm-hmm.
And you make eye contact with this creature, and its eyes look into yours, and you feel your energy reach out and exchange energies with this creature. And with this successful sense check, you do attune to the situation, and you realize a dog in the right circumstances is dangerous. A cat in the right circumstances is dangerous. Any animal in the right circumstances is dangerous. This is an animal, just like any other. There is no inherent evil about this creature. As a matter of fact, this is an abuse happening towards this creature. Mm-hmm. And you know that this creature remained undiscovered, just living in this mine shaft for so long. If it had nefarious means or reason to be nefarious, I mean, it would have done so a long time ago, but it stuck to itself and it stuck to its own area. And you actually realize that this creature is, in a way, guardian of the thinning in this area. And something that is actually trying to protect the thinning in that way. And in that way, the Candela Obscura could almost have a relationship with this creature, perhaps. Or at the very least, be able to send this creature back to the Far Realm, where it can live in the Far Realm, while they close the thinning, or put a lighthouse here, so that the astrolabe can dull the effects of everything. This is 100%. With your sense check, you realize this is 100% a fault of man, and a fault of greed, and a fault of capitalism. And
he said it here, folks.
and
Okay.
as you kind of realize all of this and take all of this in, as you come back to yourself, you realize that there's a single tear falling down your cheek.
She's gonna keep eye contact with it, and she'll just slowly like put her hand on her heart and nod, as if like, I see you.
Yeah. In that moment, as that happens, you do see that the creature almost calms for a moment, but then it receives another electrical shock, and it like makes this unnatural noise, and the venom is pumped again. Jane, we connect back with you.
Yeah, similar to how Archibald was like surveying all of the bits and bobs.
Yeah.
I want to see if like these tubes are just kind of like stabbed in and just need to be pulled out, if it's like locked in place, if whatever's giving the electric shock is the same thing, and basically how easy, and if it's possible to like start pulling some of this out without like too much notice of the people, and just like how quickly I can do that while like knowing Archibald is talking to them and they're just doing their own thing.
Yeah, go ahead.
While also
and roll,
whispering, "I'm here to help. Please don't kill me. I'm here to help. Please don't kill me."
Go ahead and roll a focus check for me.
Please don't kill me.
A focus. Okay, I'm gonna use at least one drive.
Yeah, remember you can use as many as you want.
It's not a gilded thing, but I think I'm still gonna use 2 of them. So I roll 3 dice and hope for the best. Oh God, I'm really good at rolling 2 ones and then a mixed success. I got a 4.
A 4? Okay, so with a mixed success, I will say the pumping, which is like the receiving of the venom, and the also the giving of the shock, or the machine that like Archibald, like that, like he would control that aspect of it. There's not really anything you can do about that over here. As far as the tubes and the creature, you would be able to remove them by hand. It does seem to be, they seem to be like, there seem to have been like almost like the Matrix, like ports placed on this creature that these tubes have been plugged in, and so you can try to take them off. There is a chance that you would hurt the creature if you did it incorrectly, causing it to like lash out, and there are enough that, you know, if it were to like have any sort of reaction that wasn't planned from like the electric shock or something, like the workers would probably know that.
Right.
But you can remove them.
Okay. I'm gonna then kind of like shift so I can like see around, and I'll probably like see Victoria like make eye contact and like be sad, and like Archibald and like I think I'm just gonna go for it, and I'm gonna like still whispering, "I'm here to help. They're my friends. We're gonna help you. I'm sorry if this hurts," and I'll like start as hidden as I can, just start to take one out and see if I can successfully.
Yeah. I mean, there's a multiple tubes, so I'll say you just like start taking some out, because some are like also like feeding the creature, and some are like, so you start with some of the like lower quality tubes or lower class tubes, and you're able to get those out. While she is doing that, does anybody else do anything?
Can I see what she's doing?
Yeah.
Yeah, I for lack of a better word,
Because you know she's
action.
there. Like the others would have to like actively think to pay attention.
Gotcha. So I'm gonna like wait by the machine. Kind of just like got a hand on my rifle, so the second that those two notice, I can point the rifle at them and turn it off, and then, or probably point the rifle at them to stop them from doing anything.
Yeah.
And then call everybody else over to go like, that's how you turn it off, and then give the gun to the more capable human being.
You see
and
that
then
off button right there? Yeah, just push that. Just push
Says
that
off.
button.
Says off. OFF. Yeah, but I'm just like at the ready, like watching, because in case that creature lashes out and they turn that way, I'm gonna just be like, no.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say I just have eyes on Jane, and I'm just really watching what she's doing and ready.
Awesome. And then Victoria, same for you, just kind of still looking at that creature.
Got my knife.
Got your knife. Ghost blade
My
knife.
knife ready.
Yeah, she'll
Not
like
a knife.
slowly ready the knife.
Yeah.
Kind of starting to fill with this like anger at the injustice.
Yes, of course.
Of the
I don't know
treatment
why,
of
but I
this
just
thing.
imagine you like in a frame going.
Yes.
It's
It's
being
really
blurred out.
odd.
It's being blurred out. It just like gets
It's like
lifted.
a slow
Yeah,
rise
yeah,
of the
yeah.
knife just having
There is a moment of like a disgrunt, or like a grunt when you like pull out one of the tubes, and one of the workers actually turns to Archibald and says, "Oh, how's your sister doing, by the way? Is she doing all right?"
She's all right.
The two workers look at each other,
Oh
no.
There is no sister.
and then
And then I real quick,
you see
turn
them
each
start to
other,
like tense, like,
and I just go, for a bitch. I'm throwing shit at the wall.
At the same time,
Oh my god.
one of them runs towards a red button on the wall.
I immediately point my rifle and go,
and the other one runs to another table that has some sharp instruments on it. I'm gonna say, I mean, they don't stop at an ah.
Yeah, I shoot
So,
the one going for
Just
the.
shoot him.
I shoot the one going for the clear alarm.
The clear alarm. Okay, so go ahead and
Yes.
roll a
I'm gonna
strike
use-
check.
shoot
That
the
would be a
other one.
control. It's shoot.
Oh, sorry.
Control
yeah,
is
sorry.
under control.
Yep.
So I'm gonna
control.
use a drive. Fuck it. We're at the end.
This is
I'm gonna
gilded
use-
for you as well, so
Yes, it is. So I'm gonna use
Mm.
both of my drive.
to make it 3 with a gilded.
Yes.
All right, go
Which
for
takes down all of my nerve.
it. It's okay.
But-
I'm gonna
We're at the end
Him,
of the
one of my drives.
one shot.
You're gonna give him a nerve drive.
Yeah,
Okay,
because we
so
still have all three.
four dice, one of them being your gilded.
God, what if they're all ones? Anyway.
Don't say that! Why would you
How
say
dare you?
that?
Oh, one jumped out. Hold on. I got a 6 though. I got a 6, 2 5s, and a 4.
Nice.
Hell yeah.
6.
You shoot. Do you aim to kill?
These are animal abusers. Shoot him in
You
the head.
shoot. He gets shot right in the spine, falls to the ground. His head like bounces off the table. The shot didn't kill him. The head trauma just did, and he lands on the ground. The other guy has grabbed a
Yeah.
basically what is like a saw blade, like a hacksaw, and he turns around and he looks at you. And
Yeah,
he
I
drops,
cock it.
He
and
drops
turn
the
it back.
hacksaw.
Yeah. Good
Kind of
move.
less stealthily now, just like more furiously. Like, okay, I'm just gonna start unhooking things.
Uh-huh, yeah, and
Still
I'll say,
gently, so I don't hurt the
I
creature,
was just about to
but
say,
not while also trying to hide.
I'll say because you're not trying to hide, you can focus on it more, and you're able to start removing the tubes without hurting the creature.
Perfect.
Yeah, I
the two-
called it.
Yeah.
I'm like, come on,
Yep.
come on.
Uh-huh. Harriet and Victoria make your way in.
Mm-hmm.
I give the gun as soon as Harriet is close. I give the gun to Harriet, and I turn off the machine.
Easily enough.
I like kind of slide and kick back the cane gun. I'm like, I'm doing something else. I don't need it.
Yeah.
No, don't kick the cane. That's my.
You can get it.
I go and get it as you're occupied.
Yeah, easily
So
enough.
I
This
go.
guy's his hands are up right now, and the creature is just like whimpering a bit as you take out these tubes, but not
and like petting him between tubes. Like, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
As you go to touch him,
Oh no.
as you touch his fur,
Mistake.
it's not as intense as touching the actual liquid, but you do feel this cold, tingling sensation and almost the shimmer of a green glow as you put your hand through his fur, and you do take a bleed mark.
Let's go.
You went for the
Um,
pets.
Pets.
He is, like I
It's only
said,
two
he's
out of
not,
three. It's fine.
he's not necessarily a nefarious creature, but he is still a dangerous one.
Yeah.
Don't
Well, let's
know.
hope he doesn't flail and touch me again, because I'll be unconscious.
Oh, Jesus.
Maybe
I will be scarred.
Maybe I can come help instead.
You're feeling a little off.
Yeah, I
Sounds
just
like
feel a little
good
extra
idea.
cold. I'm always cold, but now it's.
Does
that was-
anyone want any of these suits? That one has blood on it.
I don't want the bloody one.
I'll take
Alright.
the bloody one.
Alright, it's got a hole and it's a little bloody, but the suit's over there so you can...
think- As long as we don't touch him, I think we should
Can
be
I-
okay. Or touch it, or touch
Can I-
them, or touch her.
Fair enough. Can I tie the guy up so that we can use him for?
Good idea.
Easily
Evidence.
enough. No roll,
Yeah.
no roll needed.
I thought you were about to say as fodder.
Or that.
No
or
roll needed. You're able to tie him
I
up.
think that the Candela would want to question him.
Think you're right?
I agree.
He's like, his head is just hanging in shame. He's been caught.
I lean down as he does that. That's right.
Yeah, I feel bad.
You tell him.
Once he's tied up, is there anything that it looks like I can do to help unhook the creature?
I would say at this
Help?
point you have unhooked the creature,
Does it?
and it is kind of like
is it contained?
Yeah, and it's just kind of like now it's just kind of like pacing almost back and forth. It's more of a sway because it's like not that big of a cage, but it's just kind of like expectantly like moving back and forth.
I don't think anybody who's not Victoria should open that.
I mean, I would definitely have
Well-
a moment with it once it's like all unhooked. Because I didn't know the full moment that you had, but like
Yeah.
I don't want it to hate me because I did all of that. Like I was.
No, I would
straight
say. Oh no, I would say. I mean, it understands relief, and as you
Okay.
like make your way towards the front of the cage, it looks at you, and like kind of stops its way for a moment, and it just simply just stares at you in a non-aggressive way, and then you notice what could be just the slightest like nod as it then continues to like sway and pace back and forth.
I mean, if it's this close, we might be able to just release it and it'll find its way back.
I mean, I think I want to destroy the equipment that's in here so it can't be
Yes.
used and studied or anything like that. I mean, I don't know if the Candela want to keep it, but I'd rather just destroy it. We
Well,
could say it was destroyed.
agreed.
Oops. And then now that he's unhooked, now that this creature is unhooked, I think setting it free and leaving it to its business until the Candela get here, maybe. I don't want to leave it caged and then it be angry when we return for leaving it caged.
No, I don't want to do that either. I would hesitate to destroy this right away, as we need to know if there's any other devices like this, how to properly
I guess that's true.
get rid of them.
I start looking for the keys to the cage, either on the people or on a hook or wherever.
Yeah, easily enough. You're able to find
Could
them.
Would I understand from like now that I have like unadrenaline looking at it? I mean, I'm still like adrenaline high, but like looking at all of the mechanics, could I like roughly at a future date remember how this worked?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, easily enough.
Great, then I don't know. Is there stuff around here that I didn't take that? Did I? No, I didn't take lab equipment. I already took bleed detector, bleed containment vial, and a hand weapon.
Yeah.
We should
Shit.
probably try to contain whatever bleed is left here if we can.
Yes, I agree. I take out my vial and start
Yeah.
collecting what I can.
You're able to collect like residue of the liquid and stuff, but like you do notice that like there is no way to contain the bleed that just kind of like emanates from this creature.
Right.
This creature's like a walking bleed, but the rest of
Yeah.
the stuff in the lab you're able to get.
Yeah, anything already collected from it,
Yeah.
I think we should contain and collect. And
Do we know where the thinning is? Is it in this room? Or
Doesn't
is it...
seem to be in this room. No.
Okay, because I was like, I could try to lead it to it, but I think
Yeah.
it knows where it is. If it wants to go back, I would assume.
yeah,
Yes.
Sort of what I'm assuming.
so we leave
Well,
it to
we
its
leave it-
business. And
Starts
We'll leave
to
it-
you hear it start to growl very lowly.
hey, I
we
think
should
maybe
get this
before it's
shit
angry,
outta
I'm just
here.
gonna slowly
Mhm.
start look
Uh-huh.
at least that I'm unlocking it and
Mhm.
releasing it. Oh, I fumbled a little bit. Oh, we want to do this. We want to
Yes.
Okay, so
Yes.
I'm gonna need, surprisingly, Victoria, I'm gonna need you to make a sway check.
Ooh,
Okay, I have no.
if you
Oh,
can.
Okay,
try
so
to
you
type
would
this.
try.
Yes, feel free to.
So I do 2 and I take the lower, right?
Unless
I'm
people
giving
help
you a drive. I'm
Yeah.
giving
I'll
you a
give
drive.
you a drive as well.
The way Zach said that, I don't like it.
So I have 4, but like, do I still have to take the lowest one because it's
Nope.
nothing or
Not
not?
if people help
Okay.
you. Not if people
You
help
just can't crit, right?
Yeah, but you only
You only
I
have
can't crit.
two
That's right,
people
I
gave
can't.
you drive, so it's only 3 now. There's the one that you're doing, and then they give you each 2.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
okay.
You wouldn't have 4.
Because normally you would roll 2 and
And
take the lower, but
yeah,
since
yeah.
they're going, it
Yes.
doesn't take the
Even
Three
with
now.
2 drives, I thought it was just
Wow.
2 dice then. Or is it always 1 and then if you strives it's 3?
Oh,
It's extra.
good point.
Because I think if it was no
Oh, you're right. Yeah, because you have
none,
no
then
strikes.
it's
No,
just
yeah.
for the drives.
You're right,
It'd be
because you
2.
have no strikes. I think it's just the 2 that they gave you.
Okay.
But they're not. But you could just use either one.
Wow. The 5.
5. That is a mixed success.
It's a mix.
So the creature,
I'll take the
is-
damage. Find
the
me.
creature is released, and it barrels out of this cage.
That's kind of what I figured.
And because it is a mixed success, I will say Victoria is not able to like make eye contact and like calm this creature down immediately.
Right.
And so the creature like barrels out and kind of like just like it feels on defense, even though you helped it, it's like it's a creature, it's a beast. And so it is going to give you a body mark, JMO.
Okay, well,
as
that's
it,
fine.
as it slams
At least it's
into
not
you.
a bleed. I mean, because
scritchy
it
scratch.
touched me, would it still be a bleed though, or is it?
No,
No,
it's
you
the
don't-
it's the cage door slamming
Okay.
into
Oh,
you and
okay,
like
okay,
throwing
okay,
you
okay.
back.
That's fine then.
If it was a 4 mixed success, it was going to do that and give a bleed to somebody, but it was a 5 mixed.
Okay. Great. Great.
So you just get the, but then it calms down and looks at Victoria, and as Victoria is just staring at it, it remains eye contact with Victoria and starts to head towards the entrance, and just like moving amongst all of you, and then it stops at the entrance. It looks at Victoria, kind of sits on its haunches, licks a paw, brushes away at an ear, stands up on all 4s, shakes, and then sprints
Before
off
it
into
goes,
the mine shaft.
she's gonna give it to her very curtsy again.
Okay, yes.
Give it a curtsy as it's like sitting and watching her. She's
Yes.
gonna be like, yes,
Uh,
respect.
And it sprints and runs away, and you all gather up all the information from here. You are able to leave the mine shaft, and you have successfully found the source of this Undark and contained it, and are able to report back to the Candela Obscura. So that is the end of the session proper. As you have found the source and released the beast. In the days to come, you bring evidence not only to Candela but to the OUP, and Cecil Wallace and the heads of the Radiance Corporation are arrested. You also find that there are on all of the equipment as you are leaving. You find that the equipment was provided to the Radiance Corporation by the by the Eons,
Bitches.
which is the Exoteric Order of New Sciences, a group that believes in actively using magic in mixture with technology. They are completely at odds. The person that you talked to, the guy, he didn't know the difference between the Eons and the OUPs.
That's hilarious.
It was a bit of a red herring I threw at you.
Idiot.
It was a bit of a red herring I threw at you.
What an idiot.
But
Stupid.
but you find, and so the Candela uses that as more evidence to like try to find and like stop the eons. But for now, you have saved the people of Mornot Springs that you can. You use the research and the information that you have found, and other Candela Obscura scholars come in to find ways to not only abate the symptoms of this pigment, but also cure some individuals. Victoria takes some time in the mine shaft with other Candela Obscura members to bring the statues to peace and give them a proper send-off. And the Solemn Vows first assignment is reported as a flying success. And
We can fly.
And you are lauded amongst the circles, and everyone in the Candela Obscura learns your name and learns of this new hot circle in town that solved this assignment and saved an entire town. And that is where we will end for today.
Amazing.
That was fun.
So that was that was a blast. I thought that was such a fun system. Once again, if you want to have more info on this system, you can find it through Critical Role, through Darrington Press. There's a quick start guide available. This example assignment is a part of that quick start guide if you want to try it yourself, change some things around. There was a lot of stuff that we didn't get to explore. There was the hospital. There was the there was all kinds of stuff that we didn't get into. There was a worker at a general store whose wife was sick that you could have met. It's all kinds of stuff. So check that out. And I would definitely say look forward in Charmed Person's future to more sessions of this system, and maybe even return of the Solemn Vow. Thank you all for watching. Thank you to my players. Before we go, this coming Wednesday at 6:30 p.m. Central is part 4, the finale of season 5 of The Remains. We lost a player last session.
Spoilers.
Spoilers. We'll see what happens this coming session. And then on Thursday at 7 p.m. Central is session 0 of our long continuing Monster Hearts campaign. Very excited to get that started. So if you want to learn more about the system and how we're going to create this world together, watch that session this coming Thursday. And then a week from today, 2 p.m. Central, we're back in Teeroth for another continuation of the story of A Little Help. Stay tuned.
No, we're not.
We're not?
It's Father's Day.
Oh, it's Father's Day. We're off. We're off a week from today.
Never mind.
So hang out with your dads if they're alive. Mine's not, but it's okay. And with that, thank you to my players, the best players the GM could ask for. And as always, everybody say bye, Dad.
Bye, Dad.